across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
There you are. Good evening and welcome to the Political Asylum right here on Talk. I'm Kevin O'Sullivan and I'll be with you all the way to 10 o'clock. Stand by for 3 thrilling hours of news, views and topical debate. Get stuck in, get on the phone and call me on 0344 499 1000. There's a lot to talk about tonight. Or you can WhatsApp voice note me on the same number and I promise to play your message out. It is Thursday, July the 24th. Here's what's coming up. Here we go again. Just like last summer, the cops are busy showing how tough they're going to be on what our dear leader Starmer likes to call far-right thugs. Hot foot from escorting their masked left-wing chums into the heart of the protest outside Epping's asylum seeker Full Bell Hotel. Essex police release a video of them raiding a right-winger's home and arresting him. By last year's standards, he's looking at 5 years behind bars. Two-tier Keir's two-tier justice system is back up and running. Isn't that special? 0344 499 1000. So, be careful what you write on social media. No hurty words now, or it's off to the nick for you. 0344 499 1000. Meanwhile, Reform MP Lee Anderson is staying strong after bravely becoming the first public figure to ignore police instructions on the continuing cover-up of migrant sex crimes. Lee was furious when an asylum seeker in his constituency, Ashfield in Nottinghamshire, was charged with rape, with a vicious rape of a local woman. He was advised by the police to keep quiet about the perpetrator, the fact that he was an asylum seeker, a migrant, an illegal migrant. And Lee just said, no, I'm not going to do it. The police said, well, you're going to prejudice the trial. He's not going to prejudice the trial. You're allowed under law, when someone is charged with whatever offence, you're allowed to name them, you're allowed to say their age, you're allowed to put their address down, and you can say their profession. That isn't against the law, and that does not prejudice a trial. The reason the police and the authorities said that to Lee was because they don't want the public to know that the alleged perpetrator, the alleged rapist, is an asylum seeker staying at a local asylum seeker hotel. This is the kind of cover-up that's going on all over the country, folks. We know it happened in Portsmouth. The chief executive of the local council in Portsmouth City is under investigation for telling councillors and officials not to tell anyone that a local rape was alleged to be committed by an asylum seeker, someone staying at the local asylum seeker hotel that's called the Royal Beach Hotel in Southsea. So that, folks, is going on all over the country, and Lee Anderson, to his credit in my view, isn't going to have it anymore. Good for him. Meanwhile, breaking news, this happened yesterday actually. Meanwhile, a Syrian asylum seeker, Mohammed Wahid, has been sentenced. Mohammed Wahid Mohammed, he's 22 years old. He's been sentenced to 12 years in prison for raping a 12-year-old girl in a room above the shop in Birmingham where he was working illegally. What is going on in this country, folks? What the hell is going on? 03444 99 1000. Meanwhile, also, migrant hotels, our asylum seeker friends, as they enjoy our hospitality, while some of them soon will be staying at the £425 a night Britannia International Hotel in posh Canary Wharf. That hotel being prepared now. The shutters are down, the big metal barriers are going up. Soon the migrants go in. Until last week, 425 quid a night. From now on, free to them, but it's going to cost you and me, taxpayers. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Britain is on the brink, folks, and patronised and ignored. The people have had enough. To paraphrase the Film Network, they are mad as hell, and they are not going to take it anymore. One spark and this long-suffering nation could well erupt. No comment, of course, from Starmer on this police shambles at Epping, for which the woke top cop Ben Julian Harrington should be sacked, but of course won't be. They escorted left-wing thugs into the middle of the protest outside the Bell Hotel, where the asylum seekers are, and he seems to think that was a good way of policing this situation. Meanwhile, what he's doing now is saying, look at us, we're cracking down on the right-wingers. This is like a repeat. This is like a jaded repeat of a programme you didn't like, a sequel to a flop film. Last year, you know, you enjoyed Southport. Now, stand by for Epping 2. Honestly, it is a disgrace. Also, the government has now released its list of 25 bad guys, the people smugglers, the people who money movers, and the people, you know, supplying the boats and all this. Now, I was wondering when they said that they were going to release this list, whether or not these people will be people smugglers living in Britain, at which point I said, well, you're going to release the list and you're going to put financial sanctions on them. If they're in Britain, why don't you go around and arrest them and then prosecute them? That would be, I think, that would constitute smashing the gangs, wouldn't it? Well, no. Turns out that the list they've got is foreigners. You know, people as far away as China and Serbia. So they've published this list, 25 people, I think it is, and they said, we're going to put financial sanctions on them, freeze their assets in Britain, wait for it, if they have any. Well, you know, am I missing? What is the point of this? And if you know all these people abroad, surely you must know some people in Britain. You know, this is just madness, folks. And then at 8 o'clock, by the way, of course, it is the return of Cool Dr. René. Dr. René Hunderkamp, GP extraordinaire, in the studio answering all your medical questions. You know the drill. If you're not feeling very well, if you're not happy with your doctor, you can't get to see him, you're worried about the NHS, you're not thrilled with your treatment, doesn't have to be you, or you're just not feeling very well. Call Dr. René on 0344 499 1000. She's here to help. She'll be in at 8 o'clock. Doesn't have to be you, by the way. It could be a loved one. It could be a friend, a relative. 0344 499 1000. All your medical questions answered by the excellent Dr. René Hunderkamp from 8 until 9 p.m. Give her a call. She's here to help. All that and so much more. So don't go anywhere. Stick with me right here, right now on Talk, the home of free speech and common sense. Let's spend Thursday night together. And it being Thursday, I always look forward to that night, because in the studio is the senior fellow from the New Culture Forum, Philip Kilsey. Welcome, Philip.
Hi, Kev. It's great to be here, as always.
Right, we've got some stuff to get through. Yeah. Well, first of all, let's have a look at this footage, body cam footage, that the Essex police proudly released only this afternoon. Here they are charging into an alleged far-right thug's apartment following the violent anti-migrant clashes outside the Bell Hotel, the asylum seeker hotel in Epping. Let's have a look.
Hello, mate. You all right? Yeah, you good? You had that for me, mate? Miles, right. Alright, you're going to be arrested. Okay, you're under arrest for Section 2 violent disorder for an offence that occurred on the 17th of July. So you do not have to say anything, but it may harm defence. You do not mention on questions, so which you later rely on court, and anything you do say may be given evidence. Reason for your arrest, there was an interview about it, and also do post-arrest searches, so we'll be searching for items of clothing you're wearing on the day. Understand? Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit you down. Yeah, go on. We're going to have a search around the address on the section 32 page. Yeah. He's going to come with you. He's going to sit in the back of the car. If you wanted me to move up. Oh, no. You've got to go behind this one.
Well, Philip, there they go. They've also issued a warning saying, you know, there have been several other arrests. These are from the right side of the fence, of course. This is the same police force that the other night escorted, they denied it at first, then they admitted escorting left-wing thugs from Antifa, Stand Up to Racism, you know, refugees welcome and all that, from the station in Epping into the middle of the protest, where, yes, there were right-wing thugs who descended on it as well. Mostly Mostly, though, that demonstrations with local people worried about the Asylum. It's a little town to the north of London by Epping Forest, pretty little town. Local people worried about the 100 or so asylum seekers who've been imposed upon them, plonked into their midst. One of whom, an Ethiopian who arrived on June the 29th, within 8 days was in Chelmsford Magistrates Court, charged with sexual assaults on 3 local girls. He denies those offences, but he's remanded in custody. Now, that was the trigger that sparked a week of protest. We think there's going to be another, well, there is going to be another protest tonight. It's gathering as we speak. So, this is the police force that escorted left-wing thugs with masks into the middle of this, at first, peaceful protest. Now they're going round smashing into right-wing, what they say are right-wing thugs, anti-migrant protesters' flats, and they're issuing statements saying, this will not be tolerated, you will be arrested and prosecuted to the full force of the law. It's last year all over again, isn't it?
It's last year all over again, and it's amazing how they remember law and order when it's people they don't like.
Yes.
The thing is, I mean, they started, didn't they, by denying it completely. They escorted these thugs in. They denied it completely. Then they admitted it. Then they denied it again. You know, after the footage was circulated all around Twitter, circulated all around everywhere, they denied it again. So there's this gaslighting that's going on. There's this, don't believe the evidence of your eyes and ears, just believe what we tell you, even though it's blatantly obvious that we're lying to you. Now, this far-right thug narrative just doesn't wash. It never did. We're replaying last year's terrible scenes and the catastrophes that surrounded all of that. Peter Lynch was in prison and died in prison. We've still got Lucy Connolly in prison. That's for hurty words on the internet. But this is, many of these people are women and children who are frightened. They don't want to be sexually abused, and they are not listened to. They are never listened to by the authorities. They are never listened to by the police, because the police are too busy on pride parades and in critical race theory education sessions and all the rest of it. These people aren't listened to, so the only way they can have their voice heard is to go onto the streets and make peaceful protests. Now, nobody's saying that anybody wants trouble, and yes, of course, there will be thugs that gather on this, because this has been going on for a week. But the key thing is these people are not far right. They are fed up, they're angry, and they're frightened.
And these left-wing thugs who descended on these protests that have been going on now for quite a few nights, for much more than a week now. As I say, it is definitely, there's going to be another protest tonight. They're gathering in some strength right now. But as I say, you cannot help but form the opinion that the police show favouritism towards left-wing protesters, but come down on right-wing protesters like a ton of bricks, or people that they say are right-wing protesters, like they did last summer. This is Essex Police Assistant Chief Constable Stuart Hooper. We'd promised that we'd continue our investigations into the unacceptable actions of a small number of people who chose to take advantage of peaceful protests to try to cause harm to the people in Epping or to property. And he goes on, we've been analysing footage, and we have investigators and trained detectives working on this operation. We are identifying suspects, and there will be more arrests in the coming days. Put simply, if you turn up to try to cause trouble, you won't get away with it unless you're a left-wing masked protester.
And then we will escort you into the maelstrom.
Then we'll take you into the middle and look after you. And after that, and if the trouble gets a bit much, we'll put you into police vans and we'll drive you away. Police taxi service. This is so two-tier, it hurts.
Well, this is so two-tier, it hurts, but they're also giving mixed messages, because in another story today, they're saying they're just not prepared for a summer of unrest. They didn't see it coming. Really? They didn't see it coming? They should be listening to this show, because because we've been telling them for the last God knows how long. But I mean, it's just so stupid. They are such a laughing stock as well. Remember a few weeks ago you had that Chief Constable of West Midlands, I think, dressed as a Sikh. This is a ginger guy dressed as a Sikh and celebrating a Sikh festival. Now, I've got some Sikh friends and they just thought it was utterly stupid.
Isn't that cultural
It's cultural appropriation. Well, it used to be cultural appropriation, but now apparently it's all the rage.
Shouldn't that phrase be cultural misappropriation? It should be, really, shouldn't it?
Or cultural daftness.
Yeah. In fact, we should get rid of that phrase altogether. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Like, you can't wear a Mexican hat to a fancy dress party. Why not? Why is that racist? Absolutely ridiculous. Well, let's move on to another aspect of all this, and we covered this last night. Reform UK MP Lee Anderson is staying strong after becoming the first public figure to take a stand and refuse to participate in the establishment cover-up of the migrant sex crime crisis, because it is becoming a crisis. So what happened was an asylum seeker in his constituency of Ashfield in Nottinghamshire has been arrested and charged with apparently the extremely violent rape of a local woman. Lee was advised by the police not to sort of talk about the alleged perpetrator because it could prejudice the trial. That's rubbish. Under British law, when someone is arrested, you can name them, you can quote their address, you can say what they do. You can do that. And that cannot prejudice a trial. So it's totally legal to say that asylum seeker's name, his age, the asylum seeker hotel he was living at, and the fact he's an asylum seeker. That's totally legal. And when they say that, you could prejudice the trial. This is nonsense. It's nonsense. It's legal gobbledygook. Anyway, Lee said that I will not. That he was. He has decided, after some consideration, to ignore this instruction and to stay silent. And in a furious tweet, he stormed, "I will not shut up, and I do not care about the consequences. This government is importing rapists, sexual predators and other vile criminals into our country. Note to the Labour government, this is all down to you. Women and young girls are being attacked in their own towns and villages whilst you do nothing." This is Lee talking basically to Starmer. "Our police ferry in Antifa to protest against genuinely concerned residents who are peacefully protesting, then have the nerve to tell us all to remain calm. I do not want these illegal migrants in my constituency or in my country." As I said in my monologue, the Portsmouth Council Chief Executive is under investigation for allegedly telling councillors and local officials not to mention that a local rape was allegedly committed by an asylum seeker who's staying in a hotel called the Royal Beach Hotel, which is South Sea's asylum seeker accommodation centre. So they tried to cover that up. And it got out, and they're in trouble about it, because this is not democracy, folks. You know, the public have a right to know. Justice and government must be transparent. As I said, I'll tell you what. Let's go. I want to talk about this Syrian asylum seeker, Mohammed Wahid Mohammed. When we come back, I think he's been sentenced to 12 years in prison for raping a 12-year-old girl in a room above a shop in Birmingham, where he was working illegally. Well, it sums it up, doesn't it, really? That sums it up. Let's go to break. We'll talk more after these messages.
if you want to know what's really wrong with this country, fundamentally the decision was taken beginning in the 1960s to abolish the idea of personal responsibility, to explain all crime as some kind of reaction to bad social conditions or abuse or whatever it might be, and to cease to enforce law as law is to cease to get rid of the old concept of punishment. As it were, the working maxim of the prison system in this country used to be the due punishment of responsible persons.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. I'm still with Philip Kilsey, Senior Fellow at the New Culture Forum. Well, listen, we're going to play you some film in a little while of the gathering protest in Epping. It's going to happen again tonight, so who knows what might happen there. But we'll keep you posted, keep you updated as events develop in Epping this evening. In the meantime, this is Lee Anderson, you know, on the topic that we're talking about tonight.
Put foreign offenders aside and Albanians aside, just forget about those numbers. How many people travelling on small boats that's been refused asylum have been sent to a third country or back to their own country over the past 3 years?
I don't think we have. I
think we'll write to the committee with those numbers, Mr. Anderson.
That's staggering. That's actually
so
okay, then let's do it for the last year.
These are government officials, Home Office officials. They have no idea how many asylum seekers have been returned to their home country. I think I can probably help. It's pretty much near enough zero. We don't do very much of that. What we do is we let them all in and we put them in these hotels, and that is a massive building pressure cooker, a powder keg. People are absolutely sick of this. We're going to play now, this is this scene in Epping this evening. So that's building up. Meanwhile, also, while this is going on, so this is tonight. So very bad weather, by the way, if you're not from this part of the world. So you might have hoped that it might put a dampener on any problems. Big police presence, as you can see. But we'll keep you posted as to what happens there. Now, while this is going on, while this has been going on, the big rumour, Philip, was that the asylum seekers in the Bell Hotel here in Epping were about to be moved to the Britannia International Hotel in Canary Wharf. Now, we don't know whether that's happened yet, but the asylum seekers, what's happened to that hotel? I've been there many times myself. I used to work near there. It's a nice hotel, 4-star, £425 a night, 2 bars, 2 restaurants, games room, swimming pool, jacuzzi, sauna, the whole works. Great views across the Thames and the waterways there. Anyway, what's happened there is that last week, if you checked in, £425 a night. This week, you can't check in because the barriers have gone up. They bring down the shutters. You can't see in. You're never allowed into these places if you're a member of the public. You just have to pay for them. So this week, free to the asylum seekers, but not free to us. So they're being moved in now. There was a spontaneous protest there the other night. And what do we learn also today? This is shocking. This emerged today, which just plays into exactly why this kind of thing that you're looking at now, if you're watching on YouTube, is happening. Blimey, there's a hell of a lot of coppers there, aren't there? But these protests, there was another one in Diss the other night. They're planning one actually now, we're told, in Ashfield because of what happened in Lee Anderson's constituency. You can see it's going to be a chain reaction around the country. And I'll just tell you one story that sums up why this is happening. It is the story of Mohammed Wahid Mohammed, 22 years old. He is an asylum seeker, a Syrian asylum seeker. He was working illegally, you know, they like to do that, in a shop in Birmingham. He coaxed a 12-year-old girl into the room above the shop and viciously raped her. He's just got 12 years for that, 12 years in prison. An asylum seeker waiting for his asylum application to be approved, working illegally, raping a 12-year-old girl. Pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
It really does. It's got so many echoes of different things, hasn't it? Particularly the Pakistani heritage rape gangs above kebab shops, which we've talked about on this show before. This Mohammed Wahid Mohammed, part of his defence was his own defence immediately was that she was consenting. He didn't realise that a 12-year-old child cannot be consenting, because he comes from a culture that is completely incompatible with ours, where things like consent and child abuse probably don't mean that much. So this has all the ingredients, and we're looking at things which are just playing out time and time again. And when it happens once, it's shocking, but when it happens time and time again, it's demoralising, isn't it? I think that's what's happening, and people are just getting so angry and so frustrated. I want these protests to be peaceful, because I want them to just mushroom all over the country.
Unfortunately, you know, what is likely to happen, because I'm afraid this is the way it goes, this is the way these events roll, they are always, even last summer, where Two-Tier Keir was busy going, far-right thugs, they're not protests, they're they're just troublemakers. No. Even those protests last year, which were corrupted by, if you like, professional agitators, troublemakers, there's no doubt about that. But most of the people, Southport, all across the country, these were local people protesting about the migrant crisis. And Two-Tier Keir and his government wouldn't even address that. No. The nature, the reason for the unrest, the reason for the turbulence, no. He just shut his eyes and said, they're far-right thugs, they're not protests, send them all to jail. So, indeed, you know, people were getting banged up left, right and centre with indecent haste, by the way. This is where the two-tier justice thing came about, because, you know, while most people waiting to go to court wait 2 years in our ridiculous legal system, the wheels of justice in this country grind criminally slowly, if I can put it that way. 2 years, but if you were in the Southport riots, you were arrested, you were charged the next day, you were in court the day after that, and in prison the day after that. Yeah,
it's extraordinary. But one of the really extraordinary things here is Lee Anderson's statement, his tweet essentially, which is, I think it's probably the strongest statement I've ever seen from an MP in my life. Okay, and what he's doing is doing what reform should be doing. They're kind of breaking up the narrative, aren't they? They're breaking up the etiquette around this stuff to keep us in place, to keep the two-tier system in place. And this is precisely what they're for. And they're preparing the ground, in a way, for 2029. So it's all of this stuff that's happening. I'm so pleased he's been so brave. As I say, this is what reform is for. This is real opposition, okay? Because we're entering different territory. As I've seen before, I've never heard an MP speak like this or write like this before. This is something different, because it's not ordinary politics anymore. Something is happening in this balkanised country. We're seeing tribalism being played out time and time again, and people, it comes back to women and children. They feel frightened on the streets, and they are going out on the streets to protest. And yes, you're right, Kevin, they are going to be punished, because with this government, it's upside down, isn't it? The perpetrators are victims, and the victims are perpetrators, as far as they're concerned.
Absolutely. The key phrase here that Lee bravely said was a note to the Labour government and the previous government, talking about the Tories. They're just as guilty.
Yeah, they are.
This is all down to you. Women and young girls are being attacked in their own towns and villages whilst you do nothing. That is at the crux of this. That's at the heart of this problem, folks. Let me know what you think about this, because we have a serious problem here, and the government, it's quite clear what they're going to do. They're going to try to do what they did last year. They're going to arrest as many people as they can, bang them up in jail, give them disproportionate sentences, you know, few hurty words on Twitter and you're down for 2 years and 7 months. One kid, 18 years old, he'd just started an apprenticeship. I think it was in Wakefield or somewhere like that. He was arrested for unfolding a St George's Cross flag next to a mosque. He got 3 years. It's 3 years. 18, just started an apprenticeship. Yeah. They ruined his life. I mean, that wasn't a very wise action. Lucy Connolly, what she wrote wasn't wise. It was a stupid thing to write. But is it 2 years and 7 months for a few hurty words? You've got to be joking. Is that the kind of country you want to live in? He's going to do it again, folks. You can tell he's doing it again. And not to overstate the point or to repeat the point, I don't know about you, Philip, but my blood is boiling about Essex Police. The same police force that just a few days ago lovingly escorted the Antifa Stand Up to Racist far left thugs, all with their masks on. By the way, the police have got the legal right to demand people take their masks off. Why didn't they do that? By the way, there's a lot of other footage around the country of the police escorting left-wing thugs around various towns and cities. So they tend to do this. So the same police force that, I'm going to say this, controversially perhaps, that escorted its left-wing chums into the middle of the protest in Epping is now raiding the homes of what they say are right-wing thugs, anti-migrant demonstrators, and saying, you better be careful, we're going to bang you all up. It's like a rancid sequel from what happened last year, isn't it?
They hate us, you know, they hate the British people, and this police constable, it's hilarious, he was caught red-handed, lying through his teeth, and his response is, this is not about me. I've got news for you, Cocker, actually. It's absolutely about you. You need to go. And if he doesn't go, that's just going to add fuel to the fire. Again, I'm not condoning any violence or anything like that, but people are at boiling point, as I said before, because people are frightened and people are angry. It's a lethal cocktail.
Yeah, they're not raiding the far left thugs. No. They were busy giving them a taxi home, weren't they, in police vans. They're raiding the alleged far right thugs. You know, that nobody's been charged yet or anything. Actually, I think a few people have, but they're doing it again, folks. And Epping. You know what worries me about Essex Police? I don't think they can see the sheer hypocrisy of what they're doing. Yeah. They can't see it. They think they're, you know, fighting the good fight. They really do, because they're attacking the right-wingers and being friendly to the left-wingers. Let me know if that's the kind of country you want to live in, folks. You want a left-wing police force that looks after masked anti-racist thugs? But cracks that, you know, bursts into the homes of alleged right-wing thugs. In other words, if you're a right-wing thug, you're in trouble. If you're a left-wing thug, can we give you a lift home? Is that the kind of country you want to live in? 03444 991,000. When we come back, I think we'll talk about two-tier, because while all this is going on, while the country is a tinderbox, literally on the brink of, I think, potentially, I don't take any relish in this, but everybody knows this country could be on the brink of an explosion of fury from the long-suffering people of this country who have been patronised and ignored for too long. They don't like the fact that we're letting in thousands and thousands and thousands of illegal migrants who enter our country illegally, and then we shower them with extraordinary billion-pound generosity. You know, put them in 4-star hotels. We give them 50 quid a week. We give them free food. We give them free dentists, free doctors, free lawyers. People don't like this. they're prioritised over us. If the government doesn't do something about this soon, there's going to be serious trouble. I have no doubt about that. So let me know what you think, folks. 03444991000. Back in a moment.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. Now, here's something that worries me, Philip. There's no doubt this country's on the brink. It's a tinderbox. It's ready to go. Frank Furedi, philosopher, wrote a piece in the Mail to say one spark and this place goes up. And he's absolutely right. And he's a very reserved guy, and he's right. Everybody knows this. What's our government doing in these very turbulent, very tense times? Oh, they're on holiday. They're on holiday. That's good, isn't it? To be fair to Keir, he's on holiday from Parliament, but he is kind of working. He's been at Chequers talking to the Indian leader Modi, boasting about this trade deal. And in fact, you know, this is pure performative nonsense. The trade deal's already signed, so he's got Modi to fly over, took him to Chequers, bedecked the gardens with all these stalls selling what do you call it, Indian tea, chai tea, and all this kind of stuff. There we go. So this is what he's doing. He's boasting about this trade deal. The trade deal's not terrible, but it's got a lot of problems with it, and acting as if nothing else is going on. Meanwhile, the rest of the cabinet are enjoying their holidays. I mean, the phrase "fiddling while Rome burns" springs to mind.
Mind you, if I were Keir Starmer, I'd be a million miles away from it all as well. I think I'd be hiding with my head under the pillow. Yes, I mean, just looking at the footage there, it's quite obscene, bearing in mind what's going on, isn't it? I think you know, the country is more like the unstable places of India than the unstable places of India are. Actually, it feels as though, you know, it really does feel as though he is literally turning his back on everything that's going on, focusing on something that really, in the overall scheme of things, is completely unimportant. It's certainly not pressing.
They didn't sign the deal today. They signed the deal about a month ago. This is purely performative, purely for publicity. I was watching Sky News today. This is the only thing they were reporting. I mean, there might be a few problems around the country. Maybe have a look at that. But it is worrying, isn't it, that this chronically mismanaged country is clearly unravelling. As I said, patronised and ignored. The people have had enough. And no comment on any of the troubles so far from Starmer. No comment on the police shambles in Epping. And no comment on Ben Julian Harrington, the Chief Constable, who clearly should be sacked. but probably won't be. I mean, this government. It's terrifying, isn't it?
It's almost the stupidity. It's the level of stupidity that there is no strategy. It's almost as though if I don't comment on it, if I look the other way, if I deal with India, then it will go away. This is not going away. This is only going to get worse. This is a childish response to a very difficult situation. But of course, the problem is, what can he say? Because everything that's happened is an absolute direct consequence of what happened last year, and now he's repeating exactly the same thing.
He's going to try and do it again. He will, of course, deny any contact with Ben Julian Harrington, the Essex Chief Constable. When he denies that contact, my view is that will be another one of his legendary lies that he's so keen to make all the time. He's going to make the same mistakes. Now, the point is that he's going to crack down. If you're right wing, you'll go to jail. If you write something nasty on Twitter, you'll go to jail. And the point is, I think that this year the people won't put up with it. No, they won't be pushed around like this. This isn't Stalin. It's not the Stasi. It's not North Korea. We won't be treated like that again.
No, they won't be put up with it. But if you look at, he is literally politically a dead man walking, because today we've heard that Corbyn and Sultana have got this new crazy party. We don't know what it's called. It might be called Your Party. It might not be called that.
Well, it's not my bloody party, I'll tell you that.
And it's not mine either. But that it's there. It will definitely take the Muslim vote from the Labour Party. But here they are, still trying to appease the left wingers. The left wingers are going to leave them. The working class hate them. They're in such a terrible muddle, and it's all down to them, because they do not know what they're doing. This is a direct, as I say, this is a direct result of last year, but it's also a direct result of their so-called policy.
And what's frightening about this government, I mean, to be fair, I hate to be fair to them, but old Big Ange, old Angela Rayner has been warning this week that they must take people's concerns about the migrant crisis seriously. She said they're profound concerns. They must take them seriously. Well, yeah, but it's just words, isn't it? What we've really got is one of the characteristics of this government is real social problems that are bubbling up under their auspices. Their way of dealing with it is effectively to go like this, la 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 la, and act like they're not happening. This government, you would barely know. They had this cabinet meeting a couple of days ago, where the sort of farewell for the summer cabinet meeting, where they did warn each other that there may be trouble ahead, and then they all went on their holidays. Hope you have a nice time. Send us a postcard, Angela. Whose free house will you be staying in this time?
But this is the same thing that always happens when you have socialism, when socialism gets anywhere near power. So all of this that's going on, we've got this summer of absolute unrest ahead of us. It comes after the last summer of unrest, when they've been in power for 2 minutes. But I can't help but think of the 1970s and the absolute chaos at the end of the 70s, the winter of discontent, and all of that upheaval. It always comes with these people, because the policies, the ethos, the ideas just do not work. We've got this separation, we've got this, as I say, this tribal culture, and it comes out of the identity politics that they've been spouting and that they've been indoctrinating children and everybody with for the last 15 or 20 years. This is where it leads to. If you pit people against each other because they're different races, or they've got different sexualities, or blokes think they're women, for God's sake, then you are going to find trouble, and that's what they've got. And of course, they don't have any answer to it. They've got all of this lovely community, let's all be together, but let's be different. You can't be different like that. Identity politics does not work. We know it. More to the point, they know it, and they have no answer for it.
Yeah, and the government's what's coming out of the government is, we have to work on integration. No. Integration hasn't worked, won't work. What you've got to work on is stopping all these illegal foreigners coming into the country. Just, I don't know, turn the boats round, something like that. That might help. By the way, just before we go to break, can you think of a better or a more ridiculous way to waste probably hundreds of millions of pounds than a national inquiry into the Battle of Orgreave in 1984. This was when the police staged running battles with striking miners. This was the strike that broke the unions. It broke Arthur Scargill, and Margaret Thatcher, the then Prime Minister, won. Now, Labour have never forget. They hate Margaret Thatcher. God rest her soul. She's not with us anymore. They're going to have a national inquiry into this Orgreave, what they call the Battle of Orgreave. You know, it was not a pleasant spectacle. But what is that now? What is that? 40 years ago.
40 years ago.
What next? You're going to have a public inquiry into potential war crimes at the Battle of Waterloo. Have a look at what the Roman Empire did when they came over here. Let's see if we can get some reparations off Italy.
Yeah, no,
this is ideological claptrap that's going to cost us, the taxpayers, tens of millions of pounds. A more pointless national inquiry, public inquiry, I can't think of. Yes, I can. The COVID inquiry.
The COVID inquiry, yeah.
£300,000 a day. Matt, look, folks, we are living in a nut house. We really are.
But this is just cynical, isn't it? This is ideological, as you say, and they're trying to bring the working class back on board. It ain't going to happen, because the only people who care about this are a few communities in pit villages that closed down.
Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's waste of our money. Let me know what you think about that. An inquiry into a bust-up between striking miners and the police in 1984. It's going to cost tens of millions of pounds. That's going to be your money. Let me know what you think about that. 0344 499 1000. When we come back, we'll deal with another couple of aspects of the asylum seeker crisis. Guess what they're doing? So we give them these sort of credit card things or payment cards when they come here. Why? But we do. And if they're staying, they can use it to buy groceries and essentials. They get like 50 quid a week credit on it. Well, an investigation by Politics Home, the website, has revealed that nearly 7,000 of them last year used them to go gambling. They got gambling in casinos and lottery tickets and things like this. Unbelievable, unbelievable. We'll talk about that next. Stay tuned.
If you want to know what's really wrong with this country, fundamentally the decision was taken beginning in the 1960s to abolish the idea of personal responsibility, to explain all crime as some kind of reaction to bad social conditions or abuse or whatever it might be, and to cease to enforce law as law is to get rid of the old concept of punishment. As it were, the working maxim of the prison system in this country used to be the due punishment of responsible persons.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. Well, a couple of more stories about our escalating, almost comically horrific migrant crisis that the government's doing nothing about. Well, this one, I mean, it made me laugh, but if you didn't laugh, you'd cry. Yeah. This is the fact that as these dirty great metal barriers go up around the Britannia International Hotel in Canary Wharf, they're putting barriers up around the Bell Hotel. We have 202 of these. There you go. This is the once luxurious International Britannia Hotel in Canary Wharf. As these barriers go up and they turn into these accommodation centres for asylum seekers, more and more of them, it turns out that a freedom of information request by the rather good Politics Home website has revealed that we give these migrants things called Aspen cards, which are cards that you can payment cards. They're not like credit cards or anything like that. You get 50 quid a week, £49, 18p a week. If you're in self-catered accommodation, you get 10 quid, 9.95 quid a week if you're in a hotel. You get, these are for food, toiletries, necessities, those kind of things. I mean, you might ask, why do we give them this at all? But we do. You know, this is Britain, folks. We're mad. Anyway, it turns out these cards over the last year, for freedom of information requests, they've been used to put bets on. 6,537 times. They don't apparently work on online gambling sites, but they do work in casinos, slot machine arcades, and at retailers where you can buy lottery tickets. The Home Office, don't worry folks, the Home Office has launched an investigation, so that will never be sorted out. That's good, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's almost like you read the news these days with this government. It's almost like it's like you've taken an acid tab. It just feels like it's
might be the only way forward.
It's the only way to cope.
That's a joke, folks.
But in future,
just say no. By the way, just say no.
Yeah, we're not suggesting.
Just say no to drugs. Yeah,
but in future, when we look back on this, we will marvel at the absurdity, because what we're seeing is society unravelling. We're seeing all of the crazy things that we never ever thought would happen, and we're seeing them happen over and over again. It really is the end of things. I don't want to get too philosophical.
Feels like the end of days, doesn't it?
It feels like the end of an era, and it feels like the end of the liberal era over the last 40 or 50 years, and it feels like we're going into another.
It's a really
era.
good way, but so it's like a kind of almost a war between those who are desperately clinging on to this liberal, be kind
which completely hasn't worked.
Which hasn't worked. And frankly, the common sense people of this country, they are sick to death with being dictated to by the bien-pensant, Guardian-reading middle classes who tend to run most of the country, the judiciary, the government, the civil service. The people are sick of their... they're very generous, with our taxpayers' money. They're very generous with accommodation that isn't next to their house. And people have had enough. And just quickly before we finish this excellent hour, as always, Philip, this new crackdown on the smash the gangs. Well, this is the promise by the Foreign Office a couple of days ago, or actually by the government. We didn't realise they were going to be foreign names, that they were going to name 25 individuals and entities as part of the first wave of sanctions targeting key figures in the people smuggling gangs that have ferried more than 170,000 migrants to the UK in small boats since 2018. Well, they've named these people. I'll read a few of them out. Goran Asad Jalal, Mayran Jamal, Hemin Ali Salih, Mohammed Kadir Poirot, I think it says there, Beledir Lala. They're all in China, Serbia, God knows where. So our hopes that maybe they'd be British-based, no. These are all around the world. And guess what we're going to do? Whew. They'll be having sleepless nights now. We're going to, if they've got any assets here in Britain, we're going to freeze them. But what if they haven't got any assets here?
Yeah, that'll teach them.
Yeah.
You know, these are people at the four corners of the world. What we really need to be doing is being down on the beach, seeing who's coming into the country and turning them round and sending them away. That's all we need to do.
And you know, absolutely. But if we know Goran Asad, Jalal, Mariwan, Jamal, Hamen, Jamine, Ali, Salih, Mohammed Kadir Poirot, Beledir Lala, and all that lot, why don't we know any of the people smugglers who are in Britain? I bet we do, but we don't. I don't know what's going on. So we seem to have found 25 villains in the people smuggling saga all around the world, but none in Britain. And what we're going to do to these people is a total waste of time.
Yeah.
They won't have any assets in Britain. If they do, you won't be able to find them. These people are clever.
Yeah, it's
much
just
cleverer than Starmer.
It's just more noise, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're doing all of this labour, we're conducting all of this labour. None of it is making any difference whatsoever, and we're going to try and fool you. But nobody's fooled because it's stupid. We know it's stupid. It's as simple as that.
It's just as you say. It's a bit like Starmer having Modi over from India and saying, oh, look at this historic trade deal, standing in front of flags.
Yeah.
And they went out to Masala. They had a big store. They set up this sort of weird stall in the Chequers Gardens with Masala chai tea there. So it's Starmer and Modi go, oh, look, let's have some tea. You know, big showpiece, you know, performative night. The deal's already done. So that's the same as this sanctions nonsense, performative crap that won't have any effect at all. Philip, I wish we could carry on because we've got a lot more to talk about, but I'm afraid that's the end of Mr. Kilsey and me for this hour. Thank you, Philip. Brilliant as always. Philip Kilsey there from the New Culture Forum. When we come back, as I say, it's called Dr. Renee, GP Extraordinaire. Renee Hundekamp in the studio answering all your medical questions. If you don't feel very well, if you can't get to see your GP, who the hell can? If you're worried about the NHS, it doesn't have to be you. Call Dr. Renee 0344 499 1000. She's here to help.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This
Welcome back. There's a woman in the studio. I don't really recognise her. What's your name?
Susan.
It's Renee Hunderkamp, a GP extraordinaire who does, of course, call Dr. Renee. She hasn't been here for 2 weeks and I forgot who she was. But it's good to have you here, of course.
You.
So this is Call Dr. Renee. You know the drill. If you don't feel very well, if you can't get to see your GP, who the hell can? If you've got problems with the NHS, you're unhappy with your treatment, or, as I say, if you just don't feel very well, call Dr. Renee on 03444991000. She's here to help. As I always say, it doesn't have to be you. It can be a loved one. It can be a friend. There's somebody you're worried about. Call Dr. Renee, 03444991000. She's here to help. But in the meantime, before we open the surgery, as it were, by the way, I know Renee's upset about this as well. When Renee's gone, I'm not trying to wish away your hour, by the way. I really want to hear from you because I'm furious about this. That the same police force, Essex Police, that we saw several nights ago, escorting masked left-wing thugs into the middle of that Epping protest. Local people worried about their asylum seeker hotel. The police escorted them into the middle of the protests, the left-wingers in masks. That same police force is now busy raiding the homes of what they would call right-wing thugs, arresting them left, right and centre and issuing warnings. You know, if you cause trouble, you'll go to jail. You know, with the full force of the law will come down on you. In other words, but they're not really saying it to their friends. You know, it seems to me that the police are friendly with the left-wingers and they hate the right-wingers. And when I say right-wingers, I mean basically mostly concerned local decent citizens worried about their asylum seeker hotel in their midst. Just get on the phone about that. We'll have a proper chinwag later on in the show. 03444991000. But in the meantime, Renee, let's talk about the doctors' strike. That starts tomorrow, of course. They used to be called junior doctors. For some reason
they're still junior.
Yeah, childish doctors, yeah. I think they should call themselves. They've changed their name to resident doctors. They're like Prince, you know, the artist formerly known as Prince. They're the resident doctors formerly known as junior doctors.
I would argue that Prince was more talented.
Well, that's not an argument, it's a fact. They, the beginning of this Labour government, West Streeting, the Health Secretary, very unwisely gave them 28.9% pay rise. Oh, it's backdated, we need it. You know, if you cave into these people, what happens is this. 1 year later, or less than a year later, here they are, demanding another 29%. And West Streeting saying, oh, they're showing a lack of concern for patients' safety. Well, of course they are. They don't care about patient safety. So they want 29%. They had talks yesterday, and West Streeting said, well, I can't give you what you want. I can't give you the 29%, but I can offer you cheaper lunches. They rejected that. Anyway, so they'll be on strike tomorrow, thousands of them, with their placards, picket lines and all that. My line on it is, you know, I think it's a ridiculous industrial dispute. They're asking for way too much. But what worries me about this, they've got a right to strike, I suppose, although I think we have to think about this.
Yeah, I don't think they should.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm saying legally now they have a right to strike. We have to think about this, because when these militant medics go on strike, people get killed. Patients die because of it. And we surely should not allow that. And when I say frontline medical workers who affect the safety of patients, not just doctors, nurses as well, ambulance drivers and 999 emergency phone operators, I think we have to seriously think about bracketing them with the police and the army, the people we don't allow to go on strike. Because, Renee, you're a doctor, when thousands of doctors walk out of hospitals. Now, what they always say is, patient safety isn't compromised because we bring in cover. So what happens is these consultants come in to cover for junior doctors, resident doctors, sometimes even trainee doctors, doing jobs that are way beneath their exalted status.
Jobs that they haven't done for decades.
Yeah, but they're happy to do it because they're going to get £4,000 a day to cover. But the point is, that's still not enough. So when these resident doctors hit the picket lines tomorrow, walk out of hospitals, patients are going to die, right?
Yes, I think that's highly likely. I mean, look, Kevin, you said that they were putting patients at risk. I think it's even worse than that. They are gambling with patients as their pawns, knowing that they will die and not caring. Now, there's so much that could be said here. Their conditions I'll come on to. Their conditions are rubbish, and that is the problem. This is not going to solve it money. This is a militant union that actually has been taken over by ex-Momentum.
What's it got? The Bloody Minded Association, isn't it? The BMA, the British Medical Association.
But it never used to be. It used to be a gentleman's club, and now it's gone to ex-Momentum members. And they are determined, they are Marxist in their origins, they're determined to bring down the government of any colour because they don't believe this is a government that represents them, just as they didn't believe the Tories were. What you must remember is they're asking for their pay restoration back to 2008. They've picked 2008 because it actually suits them with the figures. It doesn't work so well after that. But most of these, in fact, I would argue all of these doctors were not doctors in 2008 or anywhere near.
Yeah.
So when they entered the NHS, they knew what their salary would be.
Yeah.
They're asking for something they never had, that they never lost, and people are going to die because of it.
Yeah.
I am ashamed of them. I am ashamed, Kevin. These are not the kind of doctors that I trained with who would go the extra mile to make sure a patient didn't die, wasn't put at risk.
Whatever happened to the Hippocratic Oath?
Well, you know, we don't swear the Hippocratic
I
Oath.
realise that, but
it is there.
It's inherent in your profession.
First, do no harm.
Do no harm.
First, do no harm. Those are the tenets by which we are trained. First, do no harm. This is not where they are. It is an absolute disgrace. The consultants covering won't get anywhere near normal cover, and we know that more people die in hospital when they're admitted on a Friday afternoon through to a Monday morning.
I had a doctor on last night who said exactly that. I put the same question to you, and I said, will patients die because of this strike? He said, well, statistically, that is obvious.
Yes.
He said because more patients die at the weekend in hospitals because there are fewer doctors
Absolutely.
available. So going forward, the next 5 days after tomorrow, because it's a 5-day strike.
It's a weekend cover.
It's like a weekend cover. Therefore, these doctors effectively will be killing people. That's nice, isn't it?
Absolutely. And also, Kevin, older people, frail people are going to be scared to go. So they may stay at home when they actually really do need to go. So those people will die as well. You know, the damage here is long lasting. Then you've got the people who inevitably are going to have their surgeries and their appointments cancelled. These people are evil for doing this.
Well, I tend to agree. Dr. Rav Passara had on last night, TV psychiatrist guy. He said, trust me, he said, what will happen is after this strike, when the statistics come in, the striking doctors will say, look, the death rate was fairly low. It may well go up, but they'll say it's relatively low because we told you we're not compromising patient safety. He said, but what you should really do is look at the figures in a month's time,
Excess
in 2
mortality.
months' time, 6 months' time, because the knock-on effect from this is where you will really find the numbers where the amount of people that die because of this strike will really become clear.
Well,
and it's a disgrace.
It's a disgrace, and the hypocrisy in it. So the BMA calls a strike that they know will harm patients. The NHS say we're going to try and plough on and provide the service. So the BMA then put out a statement to say this is disgraceful. The NHS are going to kill people during the doctor's strike. So they're trying to pass the buck, knowing that people are going to die.
And West Streeting is finding out what happens when you bow to these people in the traditional socialist Labour way. Oh, they're striking workers, give them exactly what they want. Now, because of their deal that West Streeting gave them soon after Labour came in, 28.9%, a lot of these doctors, these resident doctors as they're now called, are earning more than £100,000 a year. So these are people on six-figure salaries going on strike for another 29%. Saying, oh, it's backdated, you know, you've got to...
Backdated to when they weren't doctors.
Backdated to when they were all about 12 years old. So he's learning that if you buckle to these people, they'll come back for more. And all he can do now is, I think he's offered them 5% and cheaper lunches. And he's busy making statements saying that he can't believe the lack of concern they're showing for patients.
Let's talk about conditions briefly, because I think it's only fair. The NHS is a terrible employer. They have a workforce that they don't care about. They don't make them feel valued, and that's really, really important.
4 million of them. There's about 1 million of them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Doctors, because of this new training scheme that they've introduced over the last couple of decades, change their job every 4 months. So they don't raise their head above the parapet when things are wrong, or when they're being bullied, or when things are not going very well for them, because they know that it's limited. They're going to move on, and they don't want to rock the boat. There's nowhere to eat food at night, in the day, and even if you can get food, it's from a rubbish old vending machine, and it's just crap, Kevin, basically. Yeah. The nurses...
That's the medical term, yeah.
It is. The nurses bully the doctors terribly. I worked as a junior doctor at the Royal London Hospital down the road. I had 200 patients overnight that I was caring for.
200?
200. I'd been working from 8 o'clock. I'd had nothing to eat. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I was answering yet another bleep. I walked onto the ward. I was starving. I saw a patient's tea trolley and I took a little packet of digestive biscuits. I'll probably be in prison for this tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know those little 3-packs?
Yeah.
A nurse saw me and screamed across the ward in front of everyone, "I'm going to report you, that's theft." And I said, "You just bleeped me. Do you want me on the floor or do you want me to see your patient?" And those are the conditions that doctors work in. They've got nowhere to sleep if they could sleep. They've got no decent food. And now, Kevin, do you know what they've done? When I applied for my jobs, my training jobs, because I'd done really well in my exams, I only had to choose 12 jobs out of thousands, because they rank you. And the better you do, the better job you get, the better choice. Yeah. They've decided that's not fair to the people who do rubbish.
Oh, yeah, this is the new system, isn't it?
The new system. So now, as a doctor, and like me, I had a family and children, you could be moved to Perth from London. So they're disillusioned. So to be fair, their conditions are rubbish.
However, having received a 28.9% pay rise,
I'm trying to
coming back for another 29%.
Yes,
that's just stupid. And by the way, it is backfiring on them because the word is that unlike the last time, the picket lines are going to be sparsely populated. That a lot of these doctors realise that if they stand on these picket lines, unlike last time where all these lefty motorists, you know, this is a left-leaning country, isn't it? Particularly in places like London, all the motorists going there, you know, beeping. Hey! Well, they've realised that that's not going to happen this time, so we're hearing that not many of the doctors are preparing to go on the picket lines at all. And this is not a popular strike this time.
No, but I also think it's because a lot of doctors think it's immoral too, who didn't last time.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're coming to their senses. But you know what, Kevin? When they took their 29% last time, their WhatsApp groups were leaked, and they said in there very clearly, let's wait until Labour a week in about a year's time, and we'll come back for more.
See, West Reading's learning the first lesson here. If you buckle to the unions like this, give them in to their massive demands, they'll leave it a few months and then they'll come back for more. And I'm afraid that old Wes strikes me as a good-hearted guy, a decent guy, but he is the latest lamb to the slaughter.
The health service.
The health secretary lamb to the slaughter. We're going to root and branch reform. We're going to reform that. You know, it's just disaster.
But you know what he could have done?
Yeah.
He could have said, right, when you qualify, for every year that you work in the NHS, we will take off 5% of your student loan. So you get them for 20 years if they want their student loan to go.
Yeah, well, he didn't think of that, and he's in trouble here. Let me know what you think about the doctors' strike, because it's going to kill people. Why on earth do we allow people to go on strike when it kills people? You know, I believe in the right to strike. It's a fundamental, sacred tenet of a modern democracy. You know, the right to withdraw your labour in pursuit of better terms, better working conditions. But we don't let the police go on strike for obvious reasons. We don't let the army go on strike. Strangely, we do let firefighters go on strike. I've never quite
Well, because
understood.
we've got the army to step in and do a better
Well, I
job.
suppose there is that.
They
but,
could let Essex police go on strike, couldn't they?
Please do. The county would be in much better hands if the Essex police weren't around. But, you know, frontline medical workers, doctors, nurses, 999... not emergency phone answers. I haven't heard of them going on strike actually, but ambulance drivers. These people, when they go on strike, they basically kill people. People die. So it just strikes me, folks. Let me know what you think. But it strikes me that no industrial action is worth a single life, not a single life, and yet we allow people's lives to be sacrificed on the altar of doctors' strikes. It's extraordinary. Now, what worse than that is the fact they abuse it by going on strike so often, and enthusiastically, a load of them. They're just there to be strikers. That's what we should call them. I mean, they used to be called junior doctors. Now they want to be called resident doctors. Why don't we call them what they are? Striking doctors. Just so they call them that on a full-time basis. Let me know, shouldn't these people be banned from striking? Because when they walk out, people die. They kill people. 03444991000. When we come back, get on the phone. The surgery is open. Call Dr. Renee with any of your medical problems. Your GP you can't get hold of, you're unhappy with the NHS, you're not keen on your treatment, or you just don't feel very well. Call Dr. Renee, 03444991000. She's here to help. As I always say, it doesn't have to be you. It could be a loved one, it could be a friend. Get on the blower. Call the doctor. That next, stay tuned.
We know that the Afghan interpreters stroke Afghan special forces numbered, 1,000 to 1,500 that worked alongside the British forces. And yet we're being told that 18,000 have come in under the cover of darkness. The British people are not stupid. We will always give a safe haven to those that need it. Look how generous the British people have been to the Ukrainians when the war broke out in Europe. It's in our nature to do that.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. It's Call Dr. Renee, and the surgery is open and the calls are coming in. First of all, let's go to Cumbria and talk to Helen. Hello, Helen. Talk to the doctor.
Hello, Helen.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How can I help?
I was just wondering what, if any, effect there would be if you hadn't wanted the COVID vaccine, but you needed a blood transfusion and it was from someone who'd had the vaccine, because I know they don't sort of separate the blood transfusion, the blood, depending on...
Are you talking for yourself, Helen? Are you talking for yourself? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer to that question is we just don't know, Helen. This is one of the things about the COVID vaccine. We just don't know. There's evidence that in some people, the spike protein continues to replicate for months, up to a year. Who knows even more, because we're not testing every single person that's had it. In other people, it's gone quite quickly. So there's no way of knowing. There are some people I know who don't want blood transfusions from people that have had the vaccine. I can't say whether that's right or wrong, to be honest with you, because I don't have the data. Can I ask the question? Can I ask why you need the blood transfusion?
I have heavy periods and fibroids, so I was actually booked in for one. This was going back a bit now. But because my observations were okay, I decided to just take some iron tablets instead.
Well, I was going to say that. Could you not have an iron infusion? Or is there anyone you could have, if you feel really, really strongly about it, is there someone with the same blood type as you that you could try and facilitate it that way? I don't know how you would do that, but those are just the ideas that pop into my mind.
So what would be the difference with the iron? What did you say?
Well, it depends how low you're. Usually, the problem when people have got heavy periods is they get iron deplete. Your ferritin gets so low. The ferritin is your iron stores. So for people that don't absorb iron well, for example, through the gut, so they have very low, we give them an iron infusion. It's just iron. It's not blood.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
That's another alternative. But now, going back to your heavy periods, though, why don't you have a Mirena coil and then you won't have heavy periods anymore?
Well, I've tried that and it moved, and I had to have it taken out. So, yeah, I mean, I'm 50, so I'm hoping there'll be a thing of the past before long.
Yeah, some women do go on till about 55.
Well, I know, and it'll probably be me, won't it, given that they're so heavy. But they have started coming a bit, more gaps in between them. So, yeah, fingers crossed.
And you're taking things like tranexamic acid, mefenamic acid?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
All right, Helen. Well, good luck, and thank you very much for an interesting call, Helen in Cumbria there. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, there is a whole movement of people that don't want to have transfusions.
I hadn't thought about it. I hadn't thought
But we just don't have the data because no one will look at it, of course.
I would have thought, I know people feel very strongly about that, but it might be worth a risk. It's pretty slim, isn't it, the chances of... But, I mean, I get it. It's an interesting dilemma that Helen's got. Let's go to Les in Cheshire. Hello, Les.
Hi, Kev. Hi, Renee.
Hello, Les.
Talk to the doctor. You sliced your finger, I see. Tell her all about it.
That was silly. Avocado injury?
No.
How did you do it?
I was using the guillotine because I can't use my fingers because I got osteoarthritis and cut paper. And unfortunately, I caught it in the guillotine.
Oh.
Like a third of my finger off.
Oh, my God.
Completely?
A third of it?
A third of it, yeah.
What, completely, Les?
Completely.
Great. When was this? Don't tell me it was 10 minutes ago.
No,
I've just done it. What shall I do?
It was on the 6th of July on Sunday.
Did they reattach it?
What I did, it wouldn't stop bleeding, obviously, so I stuck the elastic band and I stopped it to bleed. He stuck it under the cold water tap, and what I did basically is applied super glue and stuck the part up I cut off. Now, besides that...
You put super glue?
Super glue on it, yeah. So, anyway...
I'm going to say here, Les, I'm not an expert, but I don't think doctors advise that.
Well, no, super glue is not a bad idea.
Oh, there you go.
No. It is for a finger. So I once cut my head in Barbados when I'd had too many drinks one night. And we went to the local garage.
Doctor.
We went to the local garage and got some super glue and glued it back together. But that's not a finger. That's not a finger, Les.
Right. But anyway, after a number of days, I decided to go to A&E within the appointment. Went down to A&E, and I was seen by a nurse, a young chap, and he says, "Oh, who put the bandage on?" I said, "Well, I did." He said, "Oh, it's a really really nice bandage. But anyway, when I took it off, the actual piece came off with the super glue, and underneath was a nice clean cut.
Right.
And he said it was very clean. So he says, what I'll do, I'll just keep putting the bandage on, and I'll stick a plaster on for now, and take some painkillers. So I went, right, okay. So I've waited nearly 6 days to come down to this apartment. You tell me to put a plaster on, and I'll take some painkillers. Right, fine, thank you. So anyway, the thing is that it's not healing because it's a third in my finger.
So they've got to just put a plaster over the stump of your finger, and you've lost the tip now.
Well, no, it's the side. It's the side of my forefinger.
Oh, it's the side. Okay.
Oh, okay. So the finger is still in. You've still got your whole finger.
Yes, I've still got my whole finger. It's the side of my finger.
Yeah, I see. So it's like you've got a really narrow finger now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, look, I'm really, really surprised that they didn't ask the plastic surgery team to come and see you.
Yeah.
That's number one. That is who you're going to need to see, because it sounds to me like you're going to possibly need a skin graft over there, because of course you've got a wound without any skin to heal.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I thought I could see the bone, but it might not be the bone. However, the thing is, should I have been given a tetanus?
So we do give out tetanus far too often in this country. Have you had a tetanus injection before?
I have, but it must have been about 20 years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So you would have had it when you were a child, and then you had one 20 years ago. 2 in a lifetime is usually enough. So I think that's fine, but I do think you need to go back and ask to be seen by the plastics team.
Yeah, I think you've got to get... Yeah, there's a note here saying that you said, should you go back? I would have thought yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got to go and get that sorted, Les.
If you've got a GP where you can speak to a GP tomorrow, you could get them to ring ahead for you.
Yeah.
So that the plastics team are aware you're coming. Also to make sure that your local hospital has a plastics team. If not, you may need to go somewhere else.
Well, it's just as well that I'm right-handed anyway, because it's on my left hand, so they'll be able to pick my nose anyway. But the other thing is...
Tell you what, if you use your narrow finger, Les, you really better pick your nose. Get right up there, can't you?
The thing is, Les, I didn't ask you, you haven't got diabetes?
I have, yeah, diabetes, that's it.
Right, you need to go straight back tomorrow. So this is going to impede your healing anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the problems with diabetes.
Yeah.
And don't forget, a wound that's not healing, that gets infected, can lead to sepsis, which can lead to death. Please go back.
Yeah, but I'm also starting the Manjaro job on Monday.
Go back tomorrow, Les.
You've got to go back, Les. Seriously, this is urgent. You've got to go back.
Right, okay.
You go back, because this is not a joke, is it,
No.
Renee?
Well, it's not.
No, because you're a diabetic. Renee is being very firm with you. You've got to go back urgently tomorrow.
Well, looking at it, yeah, I'll definitely have to go back.
Well, good. Go and do that for us, will you?
Well, I did say to her, I've got 9 other fingers, so it doesn't really matter.
I don't think that's the attitude.
No, go back, Les.
Yeah. Listen, Les, go back and tell you what, why don't you give us a call next week, let us know how it went, yeah?
Okay, no problem.
All right, mate, look after yourself. That's Les in Cheshire. So he dropped the diabetes news quite late there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, this is a typical man, isn't it? That actually he wouldn't have dropped that news at all had I not asked the question.
Yeah.
You know, it's about taking history. But
Well, it's
again,
not easy being a bloke.
and it's another typical man who doesn't go to A&E when he's cut half his finger off, you know, for 3 days. And, you know.
Well, let's hope Les gets that sorted out. Let's go to break, and when we come back, more of your calls. Don't forget, it is call Dr. Renee. The surgery is open. Give her a ring with any of your medical problems. She's here to help. 0344 499 1000. Back in a mo.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. It's call Dr. Renee, and let's go straight to the next caller. That's Nigel wants to talk. It's a regular caller. Hi, Nigel. Nigel in London here. He wants to talk about the strike, which should be interesting.
Hello,
what would you like
Nigel.
to say, Nigel?
Good evening, Kevin. Hope you're well, and good evening, Dr. Renee.
Hello.
I'm appalled by the money-grabbing, striking doctors.
Good for you.
Who
So
seem
me
to
too.
Who seem to put their pocket, their wallet, and their monetary gain above the health of the nation. Let's not forget the history of these guys and girls have had a considerable pay rise in the last 2 or 3 years. And when there are other people who also do considerably hard work in this country and serve the country, don't get anything like that. Now, I remember back during the pandemic, I had a furious, let's say, email exchange with my doctor, and I threatened to sue her if she didn't see me. Well, the very next day, she did see me, and I said to her, let's not forget that during the pandemic, doctor, other people are working out there, whether it's a guy flipping burgers, a guy delivering the post, a cop, the bus driver, whoever it may be, you should be working as well. It's impossible to see doctors, to email them, whatever. Now, Kevin, you'll know this because you've lived in America for a number of years.
Yep.
I've had a home there for 40-plus years.
Yep.
If this was America, there'd be class action, and doctors would be sued for millions of dollars if someone died or their condition worsened if doctors went on strike or didn't see patients.
It simply wouldn't be allowed in America. It simply would not be allowed.
Very different system, though.
Well, it's a different system, but also I think the Americans would rise up with the whole concept of doctors refusing to treat patients. They just wouldn't allow it.
What nobody seems to be mentioning is that medical school is oversubscribed by, for every place there's 4 to 5 applicants every single year, and these are the creme de la creme of our A-level students. So there's no shortage of clamour for these jobs.
No, sure. My view, Nigel, as I've made clear, is that these doctors in particular, these formerly junior, now resident doctors, they've gone out on strike so often that they're abusing their right to withdraw their labour to the extent that we now have to consider taking that away from them, because they had done this now in the past 2-3 years, 5 times or something, always walking out. I mean, I'm not exaggerating, at least hundreds of patients have probably died because of these strikes over the past few years, and surely we've got to stop the death count, haven't we? If they're going to keep doing this, we'll have to ban them from striking.
They are also liars. So when you see the placards that say I'm on £14 an hour, they're not. Because what they don't...
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go on, Nigel.
Can I just say what... Sorry, I'm sorry to cut over there, Doctor. If I can just say one thing. What a lot of people seem to forget or don't realise or want to ignore, that doctors have a really great career path with a golden pension, the ability to earn a considerable amount of money to go into private practice, yet they're just basically, for want of a better phrase, sticking their fingers up at the public. It's shameful, it's outrageous, and I'm appalled.
Do you remember when
do you know what? Almost 20 years ago, when I was a trainee doctor, so one of these junior doctors, 20 years ago is a long time, when I was in my first year of training, so I was 3 years out of university, I was earning £57,000 then.
This is how long ago?
Just under 20 years ago.
It's not bad, is it? I mean, a lot of these doctors are on strike now. They're earning more than £100,000 a year, and I think it was last year or was it the year before when the consultants went on strike. They're on these picket lines. If you look round the corner, there's all these Porsches and Rolls Royces parked down the road because they belong to the strikers, because they needed... it's just striking me as greedy. OK, they're qualified, they're doctors, they're top of their trade and all that kind of stuff. They deserve a decent income. Nobody expects them to earn 50 quid a week, but I think when people hear that people are earning more than £100,000 a year are on strike for more money, they don't have a lot of sympathy. Nobody has any sympathy for this upcoming strike tomorrow.
And do you know what I think? That these doctors have forgotten? That when I treat a patient, when a patient confides in me what's wrong with them and allows me to treat them, it's a privilege.
Mm-hmm.
It is actually a privilege.
Yeah,
that level of trust.
Yes, you're right. Listen, Nigel, very good points. Got to move on because I've got to talk to a few more patients, but always good to talk to you, mate. Thanks for the call. Let's go to Paul in Bristol. Hi, Paul. Talk to the doctor.
Hello, Paul.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Hello, Paul.
All right, Doctor. Yeah, I wanted to chat about my diagnosis.
Can you have you got the radio or the TV on in the background?
Oh, I'll turn it off.
No, you do turn it off, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that's better. Go on, talk to the doctor. Sorry.
Hello, Doctor.
Hiya.
Yeah, I've got a diagnosis of the left wrist arthritis or possible background of Keen's box.
Okay, I don't know what that is. Sorry.
Oh, and then at the bottom of the letter it says you have restricted arc of motion from
Your
20%.
shoulder.
It's my left wrist. 20% extension and 20% flexion, which points tenderness along the wrist joints itself. When I did go to the hospital, they did say that the blood wasn't going to my wrist.
Okay, so...
And it's on my left wrist, but I did speak to you a couple of months ago, but I've actually got sciatica on my left leg as well, and I didn't know if that had anything to do with it.
Well, yeah, so they're both caused by the same thing. So both conditions are being caused by degeneration, which is osteoarthritis, wear and tear of your joints. So at your wrist joint, you've got wear and tear there, and because of that degeneration of the bone, you've got limited. So people should be able to almost get 90 degrees of flexion. That's flexion. I'm sorry, that's extension. And you haven't. You've only got 20%. So that's because you've got overgrowth of bones and your cartilage is getting small, and you've got the same going on in your back, which is touching your nerves with all of the degeneration of the bones, and that's running down your leg, which is sciatica. Unfortunately, if you have osteoarthritis in one joint, you're more than likely to have it in other joints. How old are you?
57.
57. So, I mean, most people over 40 have got a degree of wear and tear, some younger, and by the time you get over 50, it accelerates, and some people are luckier than others. And unfortunately, the only thing you can do for osteoarthritis is physiotherapy, build the muscles around the joint, and, you know, work on the range of movement that you've got.
All right, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, what I was told when I went and seen the doctor at the hospital was he said I could either have injections, or if the worst thing possible was going to be surgery, but he said he didn't want to do that.
No, I mean, we don't often see surgery on the wrist, and it often isn't that successful. So some people have surgery on the wrist for carpal tunnel syndrome, and quite often it's not successful. Injections do work, steroid injections work, so they may be worth going for if you're in pain.
Why don't you try that, Paul?
Okay, yeah, that's brilliant. Well, thanks for your help, Doctor.
Pleasure.
All right, mate. Take care, Paul. Look after yourself.
Bye.
That's Paul in Bristol. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll go to Bristol again and talk to Mark. Hang around, Mark.
breaking news this morning revealed that under the Terrorist Act, 242 people were arrested in the year to June of this year.
Something you can indulge in as to all the people who aren't going to prison because, well, there's no prison spaces.
So this is a Talk exclusive. We've been looking at...
I said, you take these cuffs off me and speak to me like a human being rather than a common criminal.
You're just left wondering, does these people who lead us actually hate Britain?
Yeah.
Do they not love our country and everything that we've stood for?
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. Let's... what have we got here? I'm just going to read a couple of texts for you, Dr. Hunderkamp. Right, here's one, yeah. I'm going to have... This is from Paula. I'm going to have a knee replacement operation on the 3rd of October. Do you think it will happen now that the doctors are on strike?
Oh.
That's an interesting...
I want to say yes, and I hope so, because it will probably be life-changing for you. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, but it's up in the air, you know, doctors' strikes, you know what I mean. We've got enough problems with waiting lists as it is. I like their new waiting list technique. We're getting the waiting list down. What they do is they just say they take name people on the waiting list, write to them and say, your appointment is next Wednesday. So they take them off the waiting list, and then they get another note on Tuesday saying, sorry, the appointment's cancelled, but they've been taken off the waiting list.
Yeah.
They're cooking the books, folks.
They're cooking the books. They are cooking the books. Or they just don't tell you about your appointment, and then they put you down as did not arrive, and then you don't get another one until you've been...
They're not reducing waiting lists. They keep saying they are. They're cooking the books. The doctor confirms it. Everybody knows it. I've got so many friends that this has happened to. Oh, I finally got my appointment. I've suddenly got this letter. It's next Wednesday. I've been waiting months. Oh, I'm off the waiting list. Next Tuesday, sorry, your appointment's been cancelled, but they're off the waiting list. We're being conned, folks, conned. Let's talk to, as I say, we're going to go back to Bristol, talk to Mark. Hello, Mark, talk to the doctor.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Kev.
Hi, mate.
Hi, how can I help?
Right, about last March, perfectly okay in my hands and everything. I woke up with a terrible pain in my left hand. Thought nothing of it. About 4 or 5 days later, my right hand started aching. Tremendous pains in my hands. I had no strength or anything. This went on a little while. I finally phoned the doctor, told them what was happening, went down there. They looked at my hands and everything and said, oh, you probably hurt it some way, and said, take ibuprofen, but we give you a blood test just in case. That was back in March. Since then, I've been back 4 times. They've given me 5 blood tests, and each time said, oh, let's do you a blood test for your hands. And I thought, I did that. They said, no, we'll do this. We'll change your ibuprofen, have naproxen. And it's just going on. And then they sent me for an x-ray and said, oh, you've got a bit of arthritis. And I said, okay, I can't keep taking painkillers. Can I have something to perhaps help me with the joints or something? And this is the 3rd doctor I saw. She shrugged and said, I don't know.
You need an MRI. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, you need an MRI because your x-ray has shown that you've got some arthritis. So there's probably something touching nerves bilaterally, both going down your arms, and it doesn't have to hurt your arms. It can just be your hands that are hurting because it depends where the nerves are being touched. You need an MRI.
Sometimes my wrists really ache.
You need an MRI to show what it is that's being touched, and it may mean that you need to see a spinal surgeon. You could get some injections, some caudal injections up here, to try and help, but you certainly need an MRI as the first point of call. So I would go back to your GP tomorrow and say, spoken to Dr. Renee, she says I need an MRI.
When you say go back to my surgery tomorrow, there is a 9-week wait.
There cannot be a 9-week wait.
Honestly, it is. And we have to go through this thing now called AMI or something, AMI or whatever.
You can't phone them.
You can phone them, but they say, no, you have to go on to this online thing and fill it in. And the last one I filled in about the hands and the terrible pains, the AMI came back and said, we are not going to refer you to your doctor. So then I phoned the surgery and told them what was happening, and they said, oh, something wrong. And then I spent 2 hours on the phone with the receptionist, and she said, when did this happen? What did you do? How is this happening? And I thought, I give up.
No, don't give up. You know what? Phone the practice manager tomorrow, make a complaint, so you're not prepared to accept this. It's been going on for more than a year, last March.
Oh, no, this March.
This March, OK. It's been going on too long. You've got bilateral symptoms. You need an MRI. You're not prepared to go through this ridiculous online. Just say you don't have a computer at home. You don't have a phone. How are you supposed to do it if you don't have access to technology?
It's just crazy.
It's crazy. I agree. We don't have that system in our surgery. You phone up, make an appointment. That's it. And the longest you're going to wait in our surgery, even if it's not an emergency, is 2 weeks.
Can't you just go down there, Mark? Just go there.
Well,
try and force the issue. I mean, hard to know what to say about this.
Actually, get around much, so I have to wait for a neighbour to take me down there. But
this is obscene. It's obscene.
It's nothing. And you know, you hear about these things like all these film stars or pop stars, you know, addicted to painkillers. And I'm thinking, am I only going to get given ibuprofen and naproxen all the time? You know.
Answer me this. Do the painkillers work?
Yeah, but not all the time, if you know what I mean. It's like I do ibuprofen for a couple of weeks and they stop working, then I change over to naproxen and they're okay for a couple of weeks, and then I go back. You know, it's just, and I think, right, it's like putting on a plaster on a broken arm or something.
You know what? Phone tomorrow. Tell them you're going to make a complaint to NHS England if you don't speak to someone tomorrow. They won't want that.
Okay, can NHS England?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give that a go, yeah?
All right.
Go on, Mark. I mean, it's hard to know what to say. I mean, we get this all the time. People say they can't get to see their GPs, their doctors. And it's hard, you know, it's just, this is the NHS for you. But
don't worry, Wes is going to join it all up.
Don't worry, Wes Streeting's on the case, Mark. Well, listen, all I can do is wish you all the best, Mark, and I hope it all works out. Thank you very much for ringing. Thanks, Mark.
Sorry.
Poor guy. I mean, we do get this all the time.
It's obscene. Think about the likes of Mark. Think of my 82-year-old mum, maybe, who hasn't got a computer, or, you know, somebody like her who can't use technology. Think about someone with dementia.
Yeah. And it's like, exactly right. And it's impossible to know how to get around all of this. It's just a mess. It's an utter mess. Let's go back to the phones. Let's talk to Christine in Hertfordshire. Hello, Christine.
Oh, hello, Kevin, and hello, Dr. Renee.
Hello, Christine. How can I help?
Well, I'm listening to all the conversations, and I totally agree about all this technology. A lot of people are struggling with the online, and I go to my doctors and I actually ask the receptionist if I can do it manually, which I do. But the reason I'm phoning is because I keep getting sent for pre-op assessments and the actual op doesn't come up. I wondered if this is another way of managing the waiting list. But
yeah, I bet it is.
Do you know what? I bet it is too, because I bet you, Christine, that when you get moved onto the pre-op list, you're not on the waiting list anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're doing.
No, but this keeps happening, and I have mobility problems, so I'm having to book transport to get there and get back, so it can be sometimes, and I'm not moaning because I'm grateful to have the transport, it can be 3 hours waiting to get back So I've had a little break from it, but I think I should pursue it because it's...
So what's your opt for exactly, Christine?
To replace the Marina coil and also for a check for, cancerous cells.
Okay.
So this is with the gynecology department, to have a hysteroscopy and replace your Mirena. I mean, this isn't... You don't even need...
Pre-op assessment.
Why do you need a pre-op? I just don't...
I've had three of them.
3. It's a hat-trick.
I'm kind of perplexed. Goodness me, this is a day case procedure.
Yes, and it's... Well, I've got to have it done under general anaesthetic.
Ah, OK.
Yeah.
All right.
There's reasons for that, but I've got to have it done under general anaesthetic. But it's all the weight and then the anxiety, and you sort of get yourself prepared to go, and nothing happens. But I wondered if this is happening to other people.
I'm sure it is, Christine. It's an interesting point you make. Well, look, I wish you luck and I hope you get it soon.
Yeah, Christine, again, not much we can say, but I hope it works out for you.
Thank you very much.
Good to talk. All the best.
Enjoy watching the show.
Well, thank you, Christine. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Christine in Hertfordshire. Honestly, I get so annoyed about these poor people.
She's broken, isn't it?
You see, and also Christine is an interesting example of what we were just talking about. Older people. I mean, some of them, I remember my parents, I mean, they recoiled, I mean, they're no longer with us, but they didn't go that long ago. They recoiled in terror at the idea of a mobile phone, let alone a computer. I still have nightmares trying to teach my parents how to use a laptop. I just gave up.
Yeah, and
so there are all these people, they don't even have mobile phones.
And who is it who needs GPs more than anything? Older people.
Yeah, exactly right. Our entire culture revolves around technology that a fair few older people don't know how to use. We've got to get to grips with this. It's not fair.
And what if you don't want to use it?
Yeah, there's that as well. I think I'll categorise myself in that area. Let's go back to the phones. Let's talk to Tristan in Southend. Hello, Tristan. Talk to the doctor.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello,
evening.
Tristan.
Very good evening to you, Dr. Renee. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Okay, so I'm really well, thanks. I hope you're well yourself. Good to talk to you. Okay, so I'm restarting a drug called PrEP tomorrow, the HIV prevention drug. I was just wondering if you could take a few moments to explain to the viewers, such as young gay men and people dating people from overseas who are a high-risk country, the importance of taking the drug, because I think it'll be better coming from you, and I think it's an important message.
Yep, so PrEP is a drug taken by gay men to prevent them from contracting HIV. It's as simple as that. It works really, really well, but you do have to take it for it to work.
Have to take it like every day, or
you don't have to take it every day, do you, Tristan?
Oh, that's true. Yes, you can do on demand, whereas you do 2 tablets one day before you have relations with a man, one the next day and one the next day.
So you've tried this yourself, Tristan, yeah?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was entering a relationship with a guy, and they can swear blind about their sexual history. You simply do not know for a fact. And also, if you
never trust anybody about anything, that's my advice.
Especially when it comes to sex.
If you're a man or a woman dating someone from a high-risk country, it could also be very important to use it as well, or if you take drugs.
Yeah, so don't forget that, you know, the gay community really got on top of HIV quickly and worked out, you know, how to make themselves safe. And then what we had was that the biggest transmission was within heterosexual relationships. And in a heterosexual relationship, the person who's more likely to contract HIV is the woman.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're absolutely right, Tristan. Women should be aware as well. Well, and men.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good call, Tristan, and good advice for anybody out there. Thank you very much. Well said. There's Tristan in Southend. We're coming towards the end of this excellent edition of Call Dr. Renee, and here's one, just a couple of texts. Can I sing the praises of the doctors in Sunnyside in Tyneham Weir? Brilliant reception and early appointments. Not all GPs are bad. That's Barry.
Brilliant, and I agree, because my GP practice isn't like it either.
Yeah, your GP practice, right, as I understand it, the patients can sort of ring any old time and make an appointment, like we used to be able to.
Yes, and if they've got an emergency, we do an 8 o'clock and a 2 o'clock, but they can also ring in between for one in a week.
I've never got my head around this idea. You've got to make the call by 8 a.m.
Well, that's for same-day emergencies.
Okay, all right.
We do that.
Okay.
But our longest wait, you know, depending on what doctor you want to see, is about 2 weeks.
Okay. Here's another one. This is from Earl. It's quite an... actually, it says Earl up the top, and then it says David. David Earl? Anyway, it's either Earl or David or both. This says, does Dr. Renee have any thoughts on the quality of doctors registered with the GMC, the General Medical Council, who have been imported from other countries where qualifications can be bought rather than earned?
Look, I think the GMC is fairly vigorous about your qualifications, and doctors that come from overseas have to do another exam.
Do they? Yeah,
They don't
exactly.
just walk in. They have to do,
That's
I think it's called PLAB. But I do think that there's enough unemployed doctors now in this country, born and bred here and trained, that they should be actually cutting right back on the number of doctors from overseas and employing UK-trained doctors. You know, in America, it's very, very difficult to go there as an international medical graduate. They make it hard. You've got to get 95% in their very hard exam.
Yeah.
And then you have to do a 3-year residency. So if Colin and I wanted to go tomorrow and got that in the exam, we would have to go back to being dog's bodies for 3 years residency.
Quite right, too. I like this system.
No way around it, because they protect their own doctors.
That's interesting. And what would be the easiest country for you and Colin? Colin is Renee's partner, also a doctor, surgeon, actually. So what would be the easiest place?
There are lots of countries we can walk into. I mean, Australia's fairly easy. Canada's fairly easy. You do have to take an exam in Canada, but it's not difficult.
So don't get sick in Canada. or Australia, you know, they just let any old person become a doctor down there, right? No.
So basically, they recognise our medical degree as equivalent to theirs.
Absolutely, quite right too. Listen, Renee, great to have you back. You will be around next week, will you?
No.
No, God, you see, everybody's going to die. You're like the striking doctors. Everybody's going to die because you're never here.
Then I am back for quite a while.
Okay, so in 2 weeks' time, Renee will be back. Where are you going next week?
Corfu.
Of course. Another well-deserved holiday. Thank you, Renee. Brilliant. She'll be back in 2 weeks' time. After the news, it's Kinsey Schofield on Meghan and Harry. You don't want to miss that. Stay tuned.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. In a little while, half an hour or so, we're going to be taking your calls. 0344 499 1000. Not sure what's going on in Epping at the moment. I think probably the very bad weather, the pouring rain, has probably put a dampener on, you know, the size of the demonstration and, thank the Lord, any potential trouble. So a lot of police up there. There we go, looking at it now. It's obviously a bit earlier. But we'll have a look at what's going on in Epping, but you know what we're talking about. And the main thing I want to take your calls on is this. Here's Epping Police. Hell of a presence there today. They're not going to let anything go untoward there tonight. I don't complain about that. That's good to keep the peace there. But this same police force that were filmed the other day escorting left-wing masked thugs, you know, from the station, the local station, to the middle of the protests, the local people protesting about their asylum seeker hotel, the Bell Hotel. The Essex police they escorted them into the middle of the protests, masks, didn't tell them to take the masks or anything like that. These are the left-wing thugs. And of course trouble did erupt. And then the police piled them in their vans and drove them away. Police taxi service. Oh, you're left wing. Let's get you out of trouble, shall we? Well, that same police force today has been proudly posting videos of itself raiding right-wingers' homes, or the people that the police would decide are right-wingers. These are anti-migrant protesters. So they're coming down on them like a ton of bricks. What do they do for the left-wingers? They didn't arrest any of them, have they? They just, gave them a taxi service after the bus stop, escorted them from the station with their masks on and their placards. Refugees welcome. Here is the one of the alleged right-wing far-right thugs, alleged right-wing protesters. This is their apartment. They could do with a cleaner, perhaps, or at least maybe clean it up himself. Either way, this is the police raiding him. A number of arrests being made, issuing a statement saying, you know, if the full force of the law will come down on you. If you disrupt the peace, so on and so forth. So once again, two-tier policing. If you're right wing, they'll come down on you like a ton of bricks. If you're left wing, looks like they're your best friend. What do you think of that? 0344 499 1000. And don't you think, for stoking that trouble the other night, the Chief Constable of Essex, Ben Julian Harrington, should get his marching orders, should get his collar felt. He should be sacked, shouldn't he? 0344 499 1000. Have you got an asylum seeker hotel in your local area? There are 202. Well, actually, I would say 203 now, because there's a new one in Canary Wharf, £425 a night. Britannia Hotel, International Britannia Hotel, is now an asylum seeker hotel. So presumably that's 203. There it is, nice luxury place, swimming pool, jacuzzi, lovely room, isn't it? Look at that. Great views across the waterways of Canary Wharf, the docks there, lovely restaurant, bars, swimming pool, jacuzzi, sauna. Look at that, lovely view. Anyway, you can't go there anymore because it's all asylum seekers. So that's 203. Have you got an asylum seeker hotel in your area? Most people have. What do you think about it? Let me know. 0344 499 1000. What do you think about the migrant crisis? Wouldn't it be nice maybe if the government did at least something about it? Something concrete, something that would actually work, as opposed to the nonsense they keep coming out with, that ludicrous swap of foreigners scheme that Starmer and Macron cooked up. That's not going to work, is it? Anyway, what should they do? Do you fear for the future, considering we have a government that's completely stymied by this crisis? 0344 499 1000. Right, let's talk about Harry and Meghan, and let's go straight over to the West Coast to talk to the guru of all things royal, the great, the one and only Kinsey Schofield. Hello, Kinsey.
Yeah, I just knew that the second I got on an airplane back to Los Angeles, you know what would hit the fan. And it did. Yeah, it certainly did. Well, of course, we now know that the $100 million deal with Netflix is officially over. We'll talk about that in just a second.
because, of course, you and I, if people have been paying attention during our many conversations, we've been saying, for a couple of months now, that deal is dead in the water. That is now confirmed. But we'll talk about that in a second, and the ramifications of it and what it means for the gruesome twosome financially. I think it means serious problems, by the way. But let's talk about the new line that's come out today, which I find fascinating, because I've been saying, as ever, you can buy dried flowers, cookie mix, all that kind of stuff, runny jam, scam jam, apricot spread. I've been saying this isn't a business, it's not going to work. So she introduced this new range of Chateau Meg rosé wine. We were laughing the other night. It's 14.5% proof, 14.5% alcohol. Folks, that is fall down booze. That is strong. That is strong. But the problem with it really in terms of a business was that it's $30 a bottle. Go to your grocery store next door, you get a nice bottle for about $10, no problem at all. $30 a bottle, but minimum order, 3 bottles. So that's $90. Then there's $20 shipping, $110 for some wine. Well, people are, and by the way, of course, you also have to fill in the form, put your credit card in, order it online, wait for 2 weeks. So I guess if people really, really loved Meghan, they might be prepared to go to that trouble. But here's the problem. They don't really, really love Meghan, do they? Quite the reverse. So they're not bothering to go to that trouble. And as we predicted, as I predicted anyway, it turns out that wine is not selling. And we're also told that the lack of success of that product might be the straw that broke the camel's back for Netflix, because Netflix had a kind of interest, a financial interest in it as ever. And the word is they've looked at how this wine hasn't been selling. They've looked at the lackluster sales for the rest of the product, and they think there's nothing in this. And they're also rather annoyed, apparently, that Meghan is obsessed with as ever and has been ignoring Netflix. So the wine problem and the as ever problem seems to have contributed to the parting of the ways between Netflix and Meghan and Harry. But, not to mention, of course, their incredibly unsuccessful TV shows that they made. So the wine may have been the straw that broke the camel's back. Interesting.
I interpreted one of the things you just repeated from the Daily Mail differently. The idea that Netflix wasn't going to play second fiddle to Meghan. To me, I interpreted that not as Meghan being obsessed with the As Ever brand, as much as it was being obsessed with her own brand, with her own
herself.
rehabilitation.
Okay, good point, Kinsey, good point.
Yeah. I think that she is obsessed with every chess move, or checkers move, I should say. Everybody always says she's playing checkers, not chess. Every move she's made over the last 5 years has been totally selfish. And she wasn't thinking about her partners at Netflix. She wasn't thinking about Prince Harry. She wasn't thinking about Thomas Markle, her children, or the British royal family. It's all been about stomping on other people to elevate herself. And so when I read that line, I believe it was from the Daily Mail, about how they weren't going to play second fiddle, and ultimately that's why they decided to dismiss her, and that she was obsessed with building her brand. I really assumed it was the Meghan Markle brand, all of it.
I think you're exactly right. I stand corrected. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that. I think you're exactly right. It's because, of course, Netflix did have an interest in As Ever. I'm not sure where that stands now. But you put me straight there. What I think they've become fed up, or what you're saying, and I agree with you, they've become fed up with her self-obsession, her own brand, her own image, to the detriment of Netflix. Either way, we're told that the parting of the ways between Netflix and Meghan and Harry has been amicable. But quite a few quotes coming out from Netflix that don't make it quite seem that way.
Well, first of all, I just want to say Netflix is very quick, because they've done it with me. Netflix is very quick to try to silence stories that they don't believe, or silence stories that they are saying are incorrect, inaccurate, and they haven't done that here.
Yeah.
We haven't had Netflix swoop in and say, whoa, 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 you guys are, you guys are premature here. We haven't made any decisions, which they have in the past. Certain statements have come out, like Ted Sarandos talking to Variety, telling us that he thinks Meghan is the second coming, that he really thinks that she's an influencer. She has global influence. And so the fact that Netflix hasn't tried to stop this story from circulating over the last 3 days, I think speaks volumes.
It's true, Kinsey. It's 100% true. And what I always said, and I think you agree with me, Ted Sarandos, the chief executive of Netflix, big fan of Meghan, and I think his problem was this. He computed that someone like Meghan, who gets so many column inches written about her, I mean, there is something compelling about her. People are fascinated by her, but not necessarily in a good way. He just thought, if you get written about that much, if you get talked about that much, there must be money in it. Surely Netflix can capitalise on this. What I think he didn't factor in was the truth about Meghan. Yes, people are fascinated with her. That doesn't mean to say they like her. They're fascinated with her as a kind of, almost a sort of Cruella de Vil character, and that does not add up to financial success. So, and I also always said that one day Ted Sarandos is going to have to face down his shareholders who are going to say, hang on a second, exactly how much money are you spending on this couple? Because they're not bringing home the bacon.
Well, also around the time that he signs with Harry and Meghan have had meetings with Quibi, which has since gone out of business. That was a micro video site that Meghan started meeting with before she stepped down as a working member of the British royal family. Apple Plus, Harry had already agreed to participate in an Oprah Winfrey documentary called The Me You Can't See, and Apple had showed interest in working with Prince Harry on additional projects. And he was in talks. I believe that he was supposed to produce something with Amazon Prime Video right before he signed with Netflix. So already Netflix is like, well, we got to get him because there are these other discussions happening. So we want to be the ones that secure this great get. Additionally, they had so much success with The Crown at that time. Unbelievable Emmy-winning success. The critics loved The Crown. Everybody's falling over themselves about this beautifully scripted television show that's not necessarily the most accurate, but it's a gorgeous TV show. They had just bought Diana, the Broadway production that aired on Netflix, which turned out to be a colossal failure. But at the time it was, they clearly were going all in on royal content. And this was the ultimate in when it came to royal content with Harry and Meghan. They overplayed their hand. The return on investment wasn't there. And that's one of the reasons why I was surprised to learn that Netflix was not going to renew their contract, having made a big deal out of partnering with Meghan on As Ever, because if you don't believe in your investment in one category, you don't believe in your investment in the other category. Basically by Netflix saying, yeah, you know what, it's reached the end of its course, everything's fine, but we've just decided to move on. They're saying, As Ever is not that great either. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. We don't believe in As Ever. And we talked about Netflix, their concern with Meghan, her personal brand, her obsession with her personal brand. Well, I interpret that in this article as well. Yes, according to Meghan Markle and her team, she has sold out. But how much of that is an ego-driven strategy that frustrates Netflix? Netflix would rather all of us have As Ever loose fruit spread in our kitchen cabinets or in our refrigerators.
Scam jam.
How much of her quote-unquote selling out legitimately is Meghan and her team trying to just look like they sold out so that they have headlines that say they sold out, when in reality they did not create enough product? It's irresponsible. It's irresponsible and it's messy, and maybe Netflix was just exhausted with chasing this person's ego.
Yeah, we'll talk about also the stunning lack of success of their programmes, which must have disappointed Netflix no end. Of course, Harry's awful programme, Polo, charted in the Netflix charts at around about 3,600. I mean, literally 3,600, unbelievable. And, of course, With Love, Meghan, didn't even make the top 300, 383rd that came in. Humiliating, embarrassing. It's a flop, official. So television-wise, Netflix obviously reached the conclusion that after their nasty little series, Harry and Meghan, when they poured a bucket of venom all over King Charles and his family, and in fact, people like me, all the people in Britain, the royal family, according to that series, were racists. All of us Brits, we're slave drivers. So although that was nasty and horrible, again, you know, there's an attraction about that kind of nastiness. So that sold. That series did okay. Ever since then, disastrous. Their television efforts have been disastrous. So TV.
Can I tell you what? Can I tell you what somebody close to Harry and Meghan told Page Six? I think it's very interesting. They said there's more TV projects coming soon with both the Duke and Duchess. So if you like being bored out of your gourd, you know, you've got something to look forward to. But the insider pointed out that With Love, Meghan was actually in the top 5% of Netflix's shows, ranking 383 out of 7,500. And they stressed that it outperformed other leading lifestyle shows, such as season 9 of Queer Eye. But Queer Eye was just canceled by Netflix. So I'm like, if you're going to try to rally, if you're going to try to defend this horrible television show, why are you trying to compare it to a show that was recently canceled? Like their spokespeople, even the people whispering in Page Six's ear, they have no clue what they're doing.
There's no way anybody in the television industry goes, fantastic, we came 383rd in the charts. That is a mega flop. It's a Meghan flop, in fact. Simple as that. Now, the other aspect of Meghan's downfall is, of course, the as ever farce. I think it's a joke of a business. And these two brand experts who do a podcast called The Art of the Brand. It's a Canadian lawyer called Philip Miller and a California marketing executive called Camille Moore. I mean, they haven't held back. They've said this lifestyle brand, as ever, they say, is being run, this is a quote, run by a confederacy of dunces, and that the sole purpose behind it is to help Meghan get maximum value from her fame that came from Suits and being a part of the royal family. But this is Mr. Miller goes on to say, I'm agitated by her so much because it is a deliberate misrepresentation of what she is, because she thinks she can pretend to be that while actually being she's pretending to be a sort of domestic goddess, and she's not, and she's just using her royal connections to sucker people into buying her stuff, and every step of the way he says she's failing because it's not legitimate, it's not intelligent, and it's not well executed. Well, Mr. Miller, don't sit on the fence, but I think it does sum it up. And by the way, this is really interesting. They talk also, these two, about what I'm always asking you this. In America, do you have the word flippity-gibbet?
Well, only because you say it to me all the time.
Well, she can't concentrate on anything for any time, so she just sort of jumps from one thing.
Lack of consistency.
Yeah, exactly right. So what they're saying is, you know, suddenly she'll have this kind of bombarding session on Instagram, day in, day out. Here's another picture of me with the back of one of my kids' heads. Here's another picture of me with the back of the other kid's head. Here's a picture of me with Harry's hand, you know, and all this kind of nonsense. Well, apparently for the past week, nothing.
Well, it's because the British royal family have been quiet. We know the drill. When the British royal family has something important to say, that's when Meghan decides to post random pictures of her children's elbows.
Yeah. So Miller goes on, exactly. Miller goes on to say there was nothing about her brand that was good from the start to a distinguishing eye. And he said she was a fraud who was just using opportunities to advance herself. Her brand wasn't one built on substance. It was based on using people. They're not executing anything well on any show, on anything. He goes on to say it shows how gullible some customers are, but I don't think there are enough customers. That's the problem. And it's interesting what he's saying. I think he's saying what you were saying earlier in our conversation, that actually, we talk about Meghan and her brand as ever. We talk about Meghan and the TV shows the awful TV shows she made. But what she's really interested in is promoting herself, isn't it? It's all about herself. So as ever is really just a kind of mechanism that gets her onto the front pages in her mind. It's true. You're right. You made a good point there. She's a narcissist who just wants people to talk about her. Maybe doesn't care about As Ever that much, and never did care that much about Netflix. She just wants to be talked about.
Well, and she is being talked about. Her friends,
but not in a good way.
Yeah, her friends are trying to justify this Sussex spiral right now by saying she just wants to continue to focus on her lifestyle range as ever. Now, the reason why they're saying this, of course, is because they want us to ignore the fact that Confessions of a Female Founder bombed. With Love, Meghan bombed. Season 2 is going to be savaged by the critics. We already know it will, because we know it was shot back-to-back with Season 1, so there will be little changes made based on audience feedback from Season 1. And they say that, she has a champagne range coming out, and there are going to be holiday products. I mean, for the love of God, Meghan Markle ruining Jesus's birthday. I didn't think it could get any worse, but here we are. And it says, as a growing business as ever is continuing, listen to this very generic verbiage, as a growing business as ever is continuing to explore growth opportunities that feel aligned with the brand's core values and quality standards. Loose fruit spread doesn't really strike me as quality.
Made by factories.
And we don't mention enough the amount of people that paid Meghan Markle money to receive an email a few hours or days later to tell them that they actually don't have the product that their credit card was swiped for, and they're going to have to issue them a refund. That is absolutely unacceptable when it comes to a new business. It says the brand continues to evolve with new products and align with her vision for quality lifestyle goods at accessible price points, like $30 for booze. And yeah, I just think that the focus on As Ever products is really just trying to distract us from the various failures, archetypes, to Confessions of a Female Founder, What Happened to American Riviera Orchard, Pearl, canceled, Heart of Invictus.
She's a comedy of errors, isn't she? Everything goes wrong with her. Let me ask you this, a couple of last questions, Kinsey. Great to talk to you as always, of course. Losing the Netflix contract, it was $100 million. I'm not sure whether they ever banked that much, because I think it was productivity related, but they certainly made quite a lot of money out of Netflix. That
certainly more so than Spotify. Spotify, it was embarrassing, the productivity. One series from Meghan, and then one Christmas special starring Tyler Perry and Elton John.
For which they were called grifters, and they lost that $20 million contract pretty damn sharpish, with the company rather fed up with him and making it very clear that they were. But what effect do you think that without this source of income from Netflix, do you think that the gruesome twosome in their massive Montecito mansion and their estimated $4 million a year basic expenses to their cost of living is at least $4 million? That's just for the basics, paying the mortgage and the security and all that. Do you think that because they've lost the Netflix money, they will now struggle?
I think that because they lost the Netflix money and probably saw the writing on the wall, that's why their representative was sent to the United Kingdom to meet with King Charles's representative. I think that they realize that the end is near and there's a panic because other major streaming outlets like Amazon and let's say Peacock or one of the other ones that create original content have recognized that the return on investment is simply not there. They have terrible ideas. Harry wanting to sit down with Putin, Harry wanting to sit down with Trump, the Pope and Trump, who he criticizes on a regular basis. They're not creative individuals. Their work ethic is questionable. And according to people that have worked with them in the past, allegedly, they are nasty to work for. They're horrible to work for. They're not kind individuals. So why would anybody want to take on that drama?
Yeah, you see, you were way ahead of me, Kinsey, because that was going to be my next question. This embarrassing debacle, this circus that unfolded a couple of weekends ago now when Meredith Maines, the Gruesome Twosome's chief communications officer, flew over from California, touched down in London for secret meetings with Harry and Meghan's London PR, Liam Maguire, and the King's right-hand man, his head of communications, Tobin Andre. That meeting, alleged peace talks, they were leaked everywhere, all over the front page of the Mail on Sunday. So something went wrong in terms of the leak there. But it was projected as, talks about talks, very preliminary talks about potential peace talks to heal the rift between Harry and his dad. And you thought, oh, he's missing his family. Isn't that nice? He wants a rapprochement.
Oh, his dad is sick. That's so sweet. He's finally thinking about his father who's ill.
Yeah, but as you say, and I've heard this from other sources as well, that the reason for this meeting actually could well have been that Harry is in dire financial straits and he needs the Bank of Dad to reopen. That's why he wanted to have a line of communication to the King again, who doesn't talk to his son anymore because he doesn't trust him, to see if he can get some money out of him because he's in financial trouble.
Well, one of my favorite stories is from when the Queen asked Prince Charles at the time, the late Queen Elizabeth asked Prince Charles at the time, why won't you take Harry's phone calls? Because Harry had complained to her team about it. And he said, because I'm not an ATM. Every time Prince Harry was calling his father, it was some question about money. It was trying to get something else out of his dad. And his dad was like, it's your bed. You made your bed, lie in it. There are consequences to your decisions, which Harry and Meghan still struggle to comprehend. They take no accountability for their cruelty and their actions over the last 5 years, and nobody wants to deal with them anymore. And it's like what you were saying. There is a morbid curiosity associated with two privileged people that continue to make such detrimental life decisions. We can't look away because we can't believe they made that decision or that decision. We're horrified by it. Not only did Harry tear into his brother and his sister-in-law, who recently dealt with cancer, but he spends a pretty decent amount of time talking about his wiener in the book Spare. What company or brand wants to work with a prince who's so vulgar and icky? I mean, he could have come over here and had a completely different life, but he's become a joke. He's become a punchline. Meghan wears the pants in the family. What's Prince Harry doing? Smoking another bowl? His mother would be so devastated in the shell of a human being he's become.
You're right. They're a car crash couple. It's a car crash soap opera. We're drawn to it, but not in a good way. And that's why there's no money in them anymore. And that's why I think they're in big financial difficulty. What did I say months ago? Going forward, what would the story be about these two?
The story would be the financial strain.
Exactly. Always listen to your Uncle Kev, Kenzie. Listen, thank you very much. Great to talk to you. Have a lovely weekend. We'll talk again on Monday. Always a pleasure, Kins. That's Kinsey Schofield, the great Kinsey Schofield. Listen, we're going to go to break now. When we come back, we've got some serious stuff to talk about. And the first call is going to be Georgina from London, and I've got a particular reason to have to talk to her. So looking forward to talking to Georgina after the break.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. Let's go straight to the phones. And right off the bat, a very warm welcome to our favourite caller, my favourite caller, Georgina from London. Georgina, now listen, I don't want to go into the details of your generosity. I'm going to call you personally. But oh my God, thank you very much. Very much. That's so kind of you. I'll give you a call, seriously. We'll have a proper chat off air. But thank you so much.
You're welcome. You are more than welcome. More than welcome. Listen, the reason I've called this evening, I'm actually furious about this BJ Harrington, who I think should be on the Dukes of Hazzard with a name like that. I think
BJ. It stands, everybody, for Ben Julian. What are you thinking? No, seriously.
I think this chap should either do the right thing and resign, or I think he should get the sack now. You know,
he's not going to resign. You can rest assured of that. And I very much doubt if he'll if he'll be fired. The reason being is, you know, he's a left-wing woke copper. We have a left-wing woke government. We have a left-wing woke culture, and you get the policeman that you deserve. And B.J. Harrington is the Essex Chief Constable from hell, as far as I'm concerned. But he's the natural result of the way this country has been going. Let's just go into the details once again, because you know me, I get angry at the drop of a hat. But this makes me particularly furious. This is the same police force that last week were filmed, and we know they did this because they admitted it, escorting left-wing Antifa thugs with masks on from the station to the Epping protest, causing trouble. That's what the police did. They are now, the same police force, Essex Police, posting proudly on social media, giving it to all the media, their footage of them raiding right-wing protesters' houses and homes, and saying and issuing this statement: if you do this, you know, you've got the full force of the law will come down on you. What I said earlier, Georgina, I'll tell you what this is. This is a rancid repeat of the movie we hated last year. He's doing it again, Starmer. He's going to bang up anyone in jail who dares to protest. And I don't think the people will take it this time.
Well, I'm telling you now that Britain has woke up. It has woke up to woke. You know, this migrant madness is fast turning into a tinderbox that's already, as far as I'm concerned, is ignited with the help of the police escorting these Antifa thugs who are renowned for violence, Kevin, to a peaceful protest. I'm totally backing the mums, the dads, the grandparents who are protesting in Epping.
Me too, me too.
Any parent who cares about the safety and welfare of their children would do exactly the same thing. I know I would. And this is coming to a town near you guys, so hold your breath.
Yeah. As I say, Georgina, this is like a sequel to the movie you hated last summer. It really is. So what clearly Starmer and people like BJ Harrington are going to do is go round anyone who dares to be right, or shall we say right of centre, or be an anti-migrant protester. They're going to bang them up in jail. They're going to give them 5 years. They're already sending out the message, you be careful, you know, the full force of the law. They're doing it again. They're doing it again as if this place is North Korea or something. You know, Keir Starlin and his Stasi jackboot coppers are doing it again. And I don't think the people will put up with it this year.
We are not going to have a repeat of Southport. This is not going to happen. We've been beaten once, Kevin.
Yeah.
We're not going to get bitten again. And the British people are not stupid. Contrary to what Keir Starmer says, we are not far-right thugs. We are concerned parents who want our children and ourselves to be safe. You know, we've got these migrant men who are unvetted, sexually mature individuals. We don't know nothing about them. We don't know anything about their backgrounds, only that they're from polar opposite backgrounds to us. And we already have cases of migrant attacks on women and children.
The authorities, that's it, Georgina, the authorities, the police, the establishment, local councils are keeping secret the truth about migrant sex crimes. Migrant sex crimes are going on at an alarming rate, and the authorities are trying to keep that quiet. You heard the story about Lee Anderson, who was advised by the Nottinghamshire police not to mention the fact that a terrible rape in his constituency of Ashfield was allegedly committed by an asylum seeker. He was told don't mention that, but he's mentioned it. Because he was told, oh, that will have prejudiced the trial. No, it won't. No, it won't. Lee has done the right thing. He's made that public. And all over the country, communities know what's going on. That's what's happening in Epping. A migrant there was accused of 3 sexual assaults within 2 days of arriving. And the local community are furious. This is going to happen all over the country. I think we know. I don't say this with any relish or happiness, but I think we're sitting on the edge of a powder keg and it's about to go off.
Yeah, well, we need to be made aware. You know, we need people like Lee Anderson to tell us what's going on. Not that we don't know, because we can see it every day on the program, or on the internet, or on YouTube. We can see what's happening. Listen, Kevin, we need truthful people to tell us what's going on. We need people like yourself who makes mums and dads aware. The days of letting your children play out in the streets until the lights, you know, come on, those days have gone. These are dangerous times, and mums and dads need to know what's going on. They can't keep us silent forever. They can't put us all in prison. Keir Starmer needs to wake up. He's got children himself. For God's sake, do something about this before this goes off like a rocket. And believe you me, Kevin, it will.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're wrong, but I fear you're exactly right. Georgina, I've got to go, but always great to talk to you, and I will give you a ring. Once again, my gratitude knows no bounds. Very kind of you. We'll talk privately in a little while. Thank you, Georgina. Let's go to a break. More of your calls. Got some WhatsApp voice notes to play as well after this break.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. I'm going to take more of your calls. I got a message here that I rather liked. This is from Paul. Paul in Benfleet. That's near Sutton in Surrey, isn't it? I think it is. Because I think I used to work in Sutton. Sorry. Anyway, you don't care, do you? So this is from Paul. He says, "Love the show, Kev." Thank you, Paul. I've never known the average Brit to be so angry with a government at any time before. You're 100% right. The UK is on the verge of civil war. I'm not sure I put it as high as civil war, but certainly on the verge in it as well, I do believe. And he's a TV presenter. And he's had enough, and he starts yelling in the middle of a show, we're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. And he becomes the massive national sensation because all the people in America go, we are mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. I think that is the prevailing atmosphere in this country right now. People have had enough. They've been ignored and patronised by the bien-pensant middle classes who run everything and think that the working classes, people worried about asylum seekers, people worried about the migrant crisis, are somehow Neanderthal racists. We're sick of it. We're not Neanderthal racists. We're just worried about our country. And we won't take this anymore. Trust me. Let's listen to a couple of voice notes. Here's Sharon on the migrants.
I fear as more and more migrants land on our shores, more and more money is being spent to accommodate them and to provide them with luxury lifestyles. Despite the government's rhetoric of smashing gangs, they are doing the complete opposite, demonstrably planning for more and more arrivals by increasing the buying up of accommodation by means of hotels and the private rental sector. This is going to completely bankrupt the country.
Sharon, oh my God, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Better than me. Yeah, what she said. Exactly right. Fantastic, Sharon. In a nutshell, summed up what's going wrong with this country. Apart from the fact it's falling apart at the seams, apart from the fact the government just wants to let in more, or seems to want to let in more and more and more illegal foreigners, mostly young men of sexual age about whom we know nothing. There is the money this is costing. Billions and billions of pounds every year. Hotel after hotel being closed down and reopened as an illegal migrant accommodation centre. What the hell is going on? I mean, seriously, folks, something has got to give. Something has got to give. And what's the government doing? Oh, they've gone on holiday. And Starmer's at Chequers, you know, messing around with Modi from India. Look, we've done a trade deal. They did a trade deal months ago. He's just showcasing it. He's trying to sort of control the news agenda. Well, on this station, we don't care about your trade deal. We care about this country. Let's talk to Richard in Cheltenham. Richard, you're a new caller. Thank you for ringing. Don't make this your last call. What would you like to say?
Well, I think the Epping protests are just the tip of the spear. This whole illegal migration situation for years has been getting further and further out of hand.
It is, isn't it? It's just spiralling out of control.
It's got to the point now where the man in the street, silent majority, is going to stand up and start to make the government realise how deep-seated the situation has got with
I
them.
agree with you, Richard. I agree, and I hope the people, in a peaceful way, I hope the people do that because they just won't listen to us, will they? They just won't listen. They patronise us and they ignore us, and they think we're racists.
We're screwed. Excuse me.
Exactly right. Who's that?
Cindy from Cheltenham, who you've spoken to before.
Oh, okay. Well, I agree with her.
So we're in a situation where smashing the gangs is just a soundbite.
Oh, that's just a soundbite. It's ridiculous. They haven't smashed any gangs. Haven't found any.
Nothing has happened, and that is just a blind alley. We're paying the French millions of pounds every year, and frankly, we're getting nothing in return.
£771 million we've given France to stop the boats, stop the migrants. Haven't seen them doing that much, have you?
Well, they have been slashing a few boats.
Yeah, for the cameras, for the BBC, you know, just before Macron came over. Oh, look, we're stopping the boats. Right, Macron's back. Don't stop the boats anymore. Don't bother.
It doesn't take much technology to sit some drones over the canals where the boats are coming from, backtrack it and find out where they're starting, and stop the boats at source. Yeah. You remove the boats, you remove the mechanism to get people across the channel.
Yeah, or turn them around in the middle of the channel, or something like that. We've got to do something, Richard. We really do.
We've got to disincentivize these people.
Yeah, that's right. We give them too much free stuff. We offer them a life of luxury. You know, they're living in 4-star hotels. They're getting free food, free doctors, free dentists, free lawyers. We're having to work for a living so that our taxes can fund their luxury lifestyles. I'm not very keen on that. Are you?
I'm going to go to France and come back on a boat. I fancy it.
That's right. Let's all do that. We'll have a holiday in one of these asylum seeker hotels. Richard, what's the lady called?
Bindi.
Bindi. Well, Cindy and Richard, thank you very much for an excellent call. I've got to move on, but keep in touch. Great call, Richard. Really, seriously. Thank you. Let's quickly listen to another voice note. This is Judith on the Labour so-called government.
Like our government, isn't it? They remind me of children with their fingers in their ears, trying to drown out what is happening. It's not happening because we can't hear it. That type of mentality. I despair. Why are they on holiday? I mean, the country's in a crisis. You'd think some of them would stay behind. Mind you, do you know what? They're so useless. Perhaps they're better off on holiday.
Yeah, good one, Judith. Exactly right. A lot of people are saying that. You know, I said, what are they on holiday? The country's falling apart. We're on the brink here, and they've gone on holiday. A lot of people go, well, it'd probably be better for the country with that lot away and not in charge, because everything they touch doesn't turn to gold. It turns to something else, doesn't it? Don't tell me what that is, by the way. Right, let's quickly listen to one more voice note. It's the last one we've got tonight. It's John again on the Labour government.
Why don't we just save all the fuss and have an inquiry about all these inquiries? It's absolutely comical the way this country is being run into the ground. Oh, I just don't know when it's going to stop.
The sigh of despair. Oh, I mean, I'm with you, John. I mean, yeah, this the damning public inquiry. It'll cost tens of millions of pounds, maybe more, into the Battle of Orgreave, which was a running battle between striking miners and the police in 1984. That's 41 years ago. As I said earlier, what next? A public inquiry into potential war crimes at the Battle of Waterloo? Let's go for reparations from Italy, shall we? Those Romans, they invaded this country. They owe us some money. What about the Egyptians? Can we get anything off them? I mean, come on. This is absolutely insane. Insane sixth-form activist ideologue government. Thatcher, let's put right the wrongs of Thatcherism. 1984? Come on. It's just mad. Let's go to break now, and when we come back, more calls, more messages. Stick around.
Of course, what happened in 1997 or thereabouts was Tony Blair said education, education, education. And some smart and ambitious police officers thought, we'll have a bit of this. And off they went to university to get their degrees. And they came back with their heads brainwashed with pseudo-intellectual Marxist claptrap. And so the police service we have today is unrecognisable from the policing of my era.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. In a few minutes, Flash Ash Gould and Andre Walker will be taking over the helm of the Good Ship Talk, taking you through from 10 p.m. until 1 a.m. into the small hours in their inimitable style. We'll have a chat about what they've got lined up for your entertainment in just a second. But let's take a last call. Roy in Hampshire. Hello, Roy.
Hello, my old mate, Kev.
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. One thing that worries me, mate, one of our biggest earners in this country is tourism.
Yes.
Could you see the Americans coming over here?
Well, already, Roy, it's a fact that tourism in London is suffering badly because of the plummeting image of this increasingly dangerous city. So it's well known that Sadiq Khan's disastrous tenure as the useless mayor of this once great city is affecting the money that tourism used to bring in. Who wants to come to a city where the chances are you're going to get stabbed and killed?
Yeah, or mugged.
Yeah.
It's, you know, what's happening to our police force, mate?
What is going on in Essex? I mean, come on. That is ridiculous, isn't it?
Kev, mate, in my family, I had two coppers. My uncle Derek, he went all through the war and then he went back in the police force. He was station sergeant in all the big nicks up in London. He was chief training instructor at Hendon Police College.
Yeah.
I'd like to speak to Peter about it one day.
Yeah.
He used to take the recruits on 2 at a time, mate.
Yep.
And my young nephew, he retired 2 years ago.
Yep.
He was in the Surrey. He got headhunted in the city and on the police. He ended up an inspector.
Right.
And his job was to investigate bent officers. And I spoke to him the other day.
Line of duty, eh? Line of duty, yeah.
Yeah, would you go back in the police force? He said no.
Yeah, I bet they're horrified by it. I mean, you know, we have a couple of great former coppers come on to talk a lot, Mike Neville and Peter Blexley, good old-fashioned coppers. And they date back to the time where police showed no fear or favour. Race, colour, creed didn't matter. They were fair and they were firm and they were no nonsense. What have we got now as our coppers? Bunch of woke lefties. Unbelievable, unbelievable. They're biased. What's going on in Essex and around the country is what we call two-tier policing. If you're right-wing, they're down on you like a ton of bricks. If you're left-wing, they love you. They'll escort you into protest with your masks on and then give you a taxi ride out. It's unbelievable, Roy.
Yeah, it makes you wonder whether they were coppers with masks on.
Probably. Listen, Roy, got to go, but absolutely take your point. Good to talk. Thanks, mate. Roy in Hampshire. And Flash Ash Gould is in the studio. How you doing, mate?
All right, man. I had a girlfriend who had a police a copper for a dad, and now he's retired about 10 years. He doesn't like anyone to mention he was in the Met. He's embarrassed to be tarnished with what it is now.
But he used to be proud.
Coppers used to be proud about being in the Met. Now they want it kept quiet.
Yeah.
And, you know, they say that when they brought the far left thugs to that, they said, oh, it's like football crowds. You don't do that. You do the opposite. The police will guide you away from the opposing fans. So, you know, it's obvious what they were doing, and now they're raiding them for the reason, you know, they wound them up, they got the reaction they wanted, and now they're raiding